All right. What is going on, everybody? Welcome on back to the Cinema Lords podcast, and a happy Halloween to everybody that's listening. Easily one of my two favorite holidays of the year, so I'm very excited for the next couple of days for the Halloween festivities. But I hope everybody listening has a good time. You know, enjoy Halloween, my favorite time of year. Today, big fucking show for you guys. I'm excited for it. I've been working on it all month. Excited for a couple different reasons. First and foremost, very special guest today on the podcast. I was able to convince my lovely girlfriend, Holly, who I'm sure you guys have all heard about at some point, to join me in the show for a full-on episode. Halls, babe, how we doing?
Good. Happy to be here.
Excited to be here?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys, if you watched the back-to-school draft, you might have heard her a little bit. She was producing the show. You had a microphone. Didn't chime in too much, but this is your first real fucking episode.
It sure is. Yeah.
And this is going to be a good one for you because, just like me, we've had a big October, and we've been watching all of the things we're going to be talking about today. The second reason that I'm excited, aside from having my lovely girlfriend here with me, is that we are going to be doing something that I haven't not done on the podcast before. I don't know, 60-some-odd episodes, something like that. And I've never done an episode entirely just a deep dive into one singular person, whether it be an actor, a director, a writer, creator, anything like that. I've never done an entire episode focused around one person, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. So in honor of Halloween and spooky season, we're going to be doing a deep dive on one of my favorite guys in horror of all time, and that is Mike Flanagan. Now, he is not a household name, and I think that's a shame because I think he should be. And I think that's kind of the goal today. Aside from just talking about shit that we like, hopefully we spread a little bit of Flanagan, just a little bit of Flanagan awareness. Someone who didn't even know it was a Flanagan project and they already like it, they're like, oh, cool. They can tie their brain to it. Maybe they hear something we're talking about. They're like, that sounds up my alley. I'm going to try it out. That's my goal today, aside from having a good time. So basically what we're going to be doing is Flanagan's got 5 Netflix series, 5 massive Netflix series that heavily marketed whenever they come out. They're front page of Netflix. 5 of the last 6 years, because the first one was Hill House, and that was 18. And then that's when he signed the deal with Netflix for a 4-part, 4-year thing. And then the next 4 Octobers in a row, he rolled out a new series on Netflix, which, if you ask me, is wildly impressive in itself, that he was able to shoot these things that fast, especially when he's like either creating them himself or even just taking, like, say, a book and then turning it into a different series. Like, 4 in 4 years is an impressive thing.
Yeah.
Especially when you were dealing with COVID, too.
Oh, yeah, COVID sucked.
Yeah. Which caused a huge fuck-up through, a ripple through everything. All of Hollywood. Which we're seeing, I guess if you want to call it benefits, we're seeing the benefits of now because it's the fall, which usually isn't exactly a big time for the movie theater, and there's a bunch of movies been coming out, and shows have been popping out one after the other because everything was held back. So now everything started again at the same time. So now it's just been an overload of fucking content. It's been great though. I feel like me and you have been watching something like
constantly.
Too much. Yeah, like almost too many things. Like 50 different shows. I said that
we need to finish things before we start.
Yeah. Well, it's tough with say the Penguin and Agatha because they're week to week still, but we're probably gonna just binge those.
Plus, we're watching 4 other shows on the side.
Yep, we're on season 6 of Sons. There's a lot to balance. We put pretty much all of those on hold for the most part, though, aside from Penguin and Agatha, because I had to do that recap episode. But we've been doing hard Flanagan work for this entire month. But aside from the 5 Netflix series that we're gonna go through all of them. He's also got 5 movies. 5 movies that are fairly well known, that all were very well received by critics, audiences, and that I enjoy a lot. So the movies we're probably going to go through a little bit quicker because we don't want to be here all night long. But we're going to go through the movies first, spend a little bit less time on those, and then we'll do a little bit of like a deeper dive on the series just because they're obviously significantly longer. And I feel like while I enjoy the movies, his series is what elevates him to another level.
They're better.
Yeah. It's what really next tier. Yeah. If you just go off of his movies, I think that it's a very different conversation. Because like I said, his movies are good, but they're not holy shit. You know what I mean? The shows, though, I think 2 in particular that we happen to agree on are oh shit shows. But we'll start with the movies first. For both movies and shows, we're just going to go right in a timeline order, right from earliest release to newest release. So we're going to be starting off with Oculus. 2013 has a 75% from critics on Tomatoes, which is something I'm going to keep mentioning because, like I said, they're all critically acclaimed. Like, nothing that he's done, I think that might be like the lowest one, honestly, is 75, which is obscene.
Yeah.
But this first one, Oculus, like I said, 2013, pair of siblings attempt to prove that a haunted mirror is responsible for their parents' death that happened 10 years earlier. This one was not just a Netflix release, which we're going to talk about 2 of those. This one went to the box office, limited release. The movie cost $5 million to make. And its opening night at the box office, it made $4.9 million.
Damn.
That is the definition of a success.
Yeah.
Most movies in Hollywood, for the most part, a lot of the time, lose money.
Yeah.
Horror is actually,
Understandable.
yeah, it is. Especially for like the ones that cost $200 million and you're not even entirely sure that you're going to have a fan base coming back for it.
No.
But
Insane.
yeah, it's unbelievable. Like I said, most movies like lose money, and to make your entire thing back in the first night is just a wildly awesome success. Horror movies do good though as far as turning over and budget, because they typically cost not that much money to make. It's a lot of like whatever you want to call it, like arts, like effects and shit like that, like creating fucking fake heads that like chop off of people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not like all of this digital stuff that you have to go spend top dollar for. So pretty wild. Ends up making $44 million worldwide. So it made a nice, fucking 40 mil, which I think was pretty good considering this movie obviously wasn't like this movie had any hype around it, and he's a new director, so it's not like his name was behind it or anything like that. But this movie I enjoy. This is probably my least favorite Flanagan project.
Least favorite?
Probably.
Oh boy.
I think so. I think so. And I still enjoy it, so like that doesn't go against it in any way. This one just a lot of the traditional horror tropes.
Yeah.
Dumb characters doing dumb shit over and
Yeah.
over and over.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think like a big thing when we were
that.
watching this, I said it to you a couple times, but it was just like, what is the end game? Like, what's the end goal? Like, they're there to prove it, but it's like, how are you gonna prove it?
No, I know.
You guys are just like spiraling through these little fucking like visions and shit like that. The cameras keep turning around.
After the first set timer goes off and it doesn't happen, like the mirror isn't destroyed. It's like, what are you doing?
That's when the first time is when they go into the room and like all the cameras are all like panning at one another.
Yeah,
and they go and
she's
watch
trying
the
to
feed.
prove it, and it's like, what are you actually trying to prove? That it's working because it's working.
So that's all you need.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's it.
What are you still doing?
Let's pack up the bags and go home.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, obviously, like, does look like fucking, like, yo, you guys are just fucking playing when it's just them walking into the room and just, like, setting things up. They're just like, yep, this is proof. It's fucking haunted.
Yeah.
Obviously, anybody's just going to be like, y'all are acting. Like, that ain't nothing.
No.
You need something a little bit deeper than that. Which, fine. You stuck around for a little bit. I don't know. It's true. It is hard to really judge what the cameras are seeing in comparison to what's actually happening on screen.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the point. I think that's the point of any supernatural.
Well, I'm just saying that goes into their favor for, like, I was asking, like, what is the end goal here? How are we going to prove this thing? But I guess when you say it like that, it is like, okay, that's true. If the actual cameras are just picking up, like, us being dumbasses, like, you know what I mean? Like, sitting in corners or setting the cameras to one another, pretty hard to prove what our end point is.
What are you still doing there? Like, if the end game is destroying the mirror, destroy the mirror.
Yeah, no, I think they were trying to obviously like prove their dad's innocence. One big thing that I noticed when we were watching this is fucking Karen Gillan. She's like the lead in the movie, fucking the Nebula actress. I had no fucking idea that was her. And I thought she was from something else, and then I looked it up, or you looked it up, and you're like, yo, that's like Nebula. And I was like, fuck me, that is Nebula. Which is weird.
I said she looked familiar. And I was like, what is she from? What is she in? And I thought of Jumanji, the new Jumanji movie. And I was like, oh my God, that's Nebula. Yeah, but in Jumanji, she looks,
Yeah, I got
normal.
you. Like in this is only 2013, so I feel like in this movie she looked like that was like kind of what threw me off. Is she looked young.
Oh, I thought she looked old.
Oh, see, I thought she looked young in Oculus, and then I was like, the first like Guardians movie, which obviously she's like a robot and shit like that, but like I don't know, I saw her doing press for the movies and stuff, and I didn't think that she looked like young. You know what I mean? I think she looked old either, but I was like, all right, this girl's like in her 30s or some shit like that. And in Oculus, she very much doesn't look like that to me, at least to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she looks young and everything.
A big thing that we're going to be talking about tonight is going to be common is good performance from child actors. And this was a good example of that. I thought both of the kids in this were both pretty good. Yeah. And one of them, Annalise Basso, she was obviously the young version of the girl. We're going to see her again later on in this show. Not in this show, but in this podcast. Because there's going to be a lot of the same actors and actresses that we're going to be talking about, because that's a big thing that Flanagan does is he reuses everybody in his projects.
And they all are so amazing in all of their different roles.
Yeah, he definitely gets the most out of his people.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was really, really good. Shout out Nathan Scott. One Tree Hill supporters. I know there's a few of them out there.
I think twice on two separate occasions I was like, oh my God, I didn't know Nathan Scott is in this.
Definitely something that I forgot about too. All things that I've seen before, but I haven't seen this in a while. And then I was like, oh shit, like Nathan Scott. And then he was in another one of the things that we're going to talk about too. But I was like, oh shit, like both times just got me by surprise. Shout out James Lafferty. But this one, like I said, I enjoy, but I think it's my least favorite just because it is a little bit of like the very traditional like horror trope thing. Like it's something that you've seen a lot before. There's nothing necessarily that I feel like that puts it over the top. Like it is creepy. It's definitely very creepy. Like I enjoy the story of it and everything, but it is very much like it's just dumb characters continuing to make dumb decisions.
Yeah.
And, while it's enjoyable, it's not exactly like super praiseworthy, I guess would be what I say. It is, yeah, definitely. Like it's definitely, yeah.
It's his first one.
I don't know anything at all that he did in any way before that.
Yeah,
so it had to have been.
Thrown when you said it was like your least favorite, and I didn't think of it like that. Like I thought it was good.
I think it is good.
Yeah, I didn't. Like I said, I'm just.
What's funny is that since we watched it, we have a Samsung Smart TV, and whenever you turn on the TV, it's on Samsung TV, and whatever channel we've had it on, I feel like Oculus has been on almost every fucking time I've turned the TV on.
No, just for that one day. It was like that one 24 hours.
I've seen it a lot. I've seen it a lot. I feel like they just have the same like 5 movies in a loop. Because Cabin in the Woods was on the other day too, which we also just watched that too. Cabin in the Woods is fucking awesome. That one's campy intentionally, and they fucking roll into it. That movie's freaking great. Let's see. The mother character was really creepy. Marie Russell. Kind of talked about that. Wild ending. Wild fucking ending to this goddamn movie.
Oh, man.
I mean, that fucking mirror. I mean, it just straight up fucks that kid. It fucked him when he was a kid. Fucking put him in a goddamn psych ward when he was a child. And that's how this ends. Killing his sister, back in the psych ward.
Because his sister's a dumb bitch. Like, she's just dumb. She's dumb. She deserves. I mean, I don't want to say she deserves. That's not very nice. But like, what are you trying to prove?
She did kill Nathan Scott.
She did.
Couldn't tell what was real.
Like, so she proved it, but like you're proving it to the wrong people instead of just destroying it and like proving it to yourself that like you knew your dad was innocent. Great, hurrah! You went and got yourself killed,
and also killed your fiance.
And now
that shit's on camera.
Your poor brother is back in the crazy institution.
Yep. That's actually what
good job.
Yeah, really. It was everything you planned this to be.
Good job. Yeah.
And the kid very much
didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He was very much not in on it. So, what the fuck? There was one other thing that I want. Oh fuck! I was just gonna say about the ending. It was fucking back to the psych ward. The fucking mirror fucks him over. Ah, shit. I can't even fucking think of it. Shout out Kate Siegel, though. We're going to be talking about her a shit ton again tonight because it's one of the things I found out. There were 2 big things I found out doing, like, prep for this show that, like, I just didn't know. And one of them was that Kate Siegel and Mike Flanagan are, in fact, married. Which, in hindsight, like, kind of makes sense, but...
I mean, all of the actors and actresses he uses are like in every single one of his works.
So it's hard. Yeah, exactly.
It's hard, yeah.
Like for all that,
That is a fun
he could have been
fact, though.
married to fucking Carla Gugino.
I mean,
she's in all of them too.
I'm not saying he's ugly either, but like she's really pretty and he's not that much of a looker.
Odd looking cat. Definitely not. Yeah, definitely not a looker. That's a good way to put it.
Like,
One.
she's not ugly, but
No,
she's just so pretty.
no.
She's really pretty.
You don't see that guy walk by and you're like, whoa. Which I do a lot. Does hurt for me at least. Does hurt that he has no hair. Bald guy right away. Big take. I mean, like that's usually the biggest thing. Like, oh wow, did you see that guy's head of hair? Like, good fucking hair.
Oh, baby.
Bald. You know what I mean? What are we gonna do? One cool thing that I did come across when I was like again prepping for this show and just trying to look for little tidbits to mention that I thought would be cool. The mirror. It's called the Lasser glass. It can be found in like, what is it? Let's see. 1, 2, 4 of his other works.
Oh,
like
shit.
straight up plants it. So I didn't know this myself, but it is in Midnight Club. It is down in the basement, which we're going to be talking about all these things more, but at Midnight Club, it's down in the basement where they like go and do like the whole seance kind of thing and shit like that. It is in Hill House. We see it. I saw the clip particularly. It's when it's in the first episode when Nell's back at the house and she's like dancing by herself and shit. Okay. When she like spins through one of the hallways, it's hanging on the hallway wall behind her.
Okay.
And then it's in the Bly Manor mansion. And then it's also, I didn't catch a clip of this one or anything like that, but supposedly it's also in the Gerald's Game House. That one can't say for sure. But there is like a mirror that they do show a couple times, but I don't think it's that one. Like Carla Gugino, actually, when she finally like gets out and escapes, she like goes to the sink and she's like drinking water and it's like in front of the mirror and they show her, but that's like a regular bathroom mirror. It's not that one. It's like your typical fucking whoosh, bathroom mirror. But I thought that was very cool. I always like little Easter eggs, shit like that, where they fucking sprinkle and stuff.
I think that is cool, yeah.
Yeah. Like, especially like I don't know. I don't even know like how that concept really like comes across. Like you use like your whole movie, your premise for the first movie is completely built around this mirror. But then you're like, all right, we're designing Hill House. Like, you know what? Like, let's grab
use
that
prop.
Yeah,
it's
like
an
that's
old-timey mirror. It looks cool and creepy.
Yeah, that's true. It does totally fit. That's just like I don't know. I just find that shit like very cool. Like just to even like just think about. But like I said, Oculus is it's a good starting spot for him. Still, like I said, very well liked by critics and audiences. I enjoy the hell out of it. I just think that his other projects are really, really good. So this is probably just like, I would say this is probably my least favorite one from him, but still wildly enjoyable. Let's see. From that, we're going to go to Hush. Love Hush. Hush, 2016, straight to Netflix release. 93%. From critics on Tomatoes. 93. Wow. A deaf writer who retreated into the woods to live a solitary life must fight for her life in silence when a masked killer appears in her window. Did you like that reading? That was like, that was some goosebumps shit right there. That was good. That was clean. So this is one that I find very interesting because of a lot of like the background shit. So this one is co-written with his wife, Kate Siegel. They did this one together. And this one was interesting to me because I was reading up on the movie. And apparently, first thing that I thought was interesting is that Flanagan initially wanted the whole movie to be silent. Which, as we just said, the main character is deaf. But he wanted the entire movie as a whole to be silent. Which, like, after, like, playing around with it, he realized, like, okay, like...
Yeah.
Especially because... there's a lot of towards the end when she say like she's bleeding out and she's having a conversation with her inner monologue. It's tough to express that if the whole movie's
silent. Yeah.
Right. What are you gonna do? Like have her signing or some shit like that? Like it would just be weird. So like that was something that they went away from. But like initially, like I read that, I was like, all right, that's fucking interesting. And then the other one was that him and his wife Kate Siegel, they said that they basically like the script for this movie was largely written based on them creating these scenes like in their house, the two of them.
Yeah.
Like that's fucking...
They had to time everything out. They had to figure out how long it takes exactly to like...
Yeah.
I don't know. Shoot someone in the leg with an arrow and then run away.
I gotcha. I just think I like in my brain when I read that, like I just think of like them at the dinner table, like sharing a meal and a glass of wine, and they're like finishing up, and they're like, "Honey, that was spectacular," and they're like, "Okay, now you run the fuck away from me, and I'm going to chase you, and we're gonna see how this goes down." Like that's fucking. I also like the thing that they like live in a house that's like I don't know like. Fucking when a stranger calls and there's like huge glass walls and their neighbors are just like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
What is going on over there? Just playing some charades. No big deal. Family game night.
We're literally making a movie in our minds right now. But I fucking see shit like that and I'm just right away like those are the little things that, I don't know, get me going. Very intriguing to me at least. So there's a lot of cool little things about this movie, at least for like right now. No longer on streaming. So like I said, it was a direct to Netflix, but you know how streaming works now. It's all about buying right. It's like anything else. Like you buy rights for a certain length, and then the contract expires, and that's it. So right now, no one has picked this up on streaming,
which is insane.
It is
a really good movie.
And Flanagan has worked with I can't even remember what company it is. Probably whatever studio I guess would have made the film. And they're releasing a 4K DVD of it in November. Which is cool in its own right because it is a straight to Netflix movie. So I don't know how many of those. I don't think like The Addams Project, which is probably like my favorite Netflix movie. I don't think that one's got a DVD release. I could be wrong. I don't think it does though. But this one's getting a DVD release and it's coming with a complete alternate edition that's not entirely silent, but it is entirely black and white.
Oh boy.
Love that.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Love that.
Yeah.
We were just watching Werewolf by Night, and you had never seen it before. I have seen it a bunch of times, and I put it on initially with that new colored version that they did, almost knowing it was not going to be as good. I watched about 4 minutes of it until you said something, and I was like, you were like, I have never seen this before. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Oh, we watched it last year. I just don't remember. I think
did we?
Yeah.
All right. Well, either way, I was very relieved to get off that colored version. 4 minutes in, I was like, all right, nope. No. This does not work for me. The black and white version is sick. And I think this movie would play good in black and white. I'm not even necessarily sure why I think that, but I do think, which we're going to see again from a lot of his stuff, it is like a very like simple movie. Like the movie, it's in one house or one house, one yard.
Yeah.
And it consists of like basically four characters.
People,
like four characters. So it's like very, very, like I said, like simple. And because it's like in just that one location, I do feel like black and white like plays. I feel like you have same thing with Werewolf by Night. It's like one small little storyline in one night. Like a black and white for me at least, like if it plays out over days like a regular movie or weeks or whatever, like I don't think that plays for me as much. But the fact that it's just like you almost spend like 90 minutes with the movie watching it and it only feels like maybe you're missing out on a little bit of time. You know what I mean? Like the movie feels like it only probably takes course over a few hours, 3, 4, 5 hours. And we see probably like 90 minutes of it. So I feel like that short time period works with black and white. At least from like my brain, I guess is the best way I can compute it. How do you feel about black and white?
I do like black and white. I'm not getting the same
thing
from you. No.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like the fact that
plenty of like old timey shows my parents will still watch that's black and white and like.
Well, that's I feel like different just because that was the time. Like there was no other option. You know what I'm saying? Like this is obviously different, cognitive. It's a conscious choice.
I get it. Yeah, I think the black and white plays just because of like. I don't know. It's a spooky movie.
Creepy?
And
Yeah,
it's creepy. Yeah, and it's like...
Reminds you of like Frankenstein.
She's deaf, so maybe the way, like the whole entire way she just perceives the world is just different.
Yeah. No, I like it. Like I said, I'm... obviously, as you know, I still collect a bunch of DVDs. I'll probably cop this one coming out this month. I love 4Ks. God, shout out to PS5. And once we get this, I'm definitely going to want to fucking pop it in and watch the black and white version. Definitely like, so like any other, whatever you want to call it, like not, yeah, actually, I guess we do find out that he is a serial killer because on his little crossbow, he has that little carving thing for every kill. So he actually technically is a serial killer, but like a very different look of a serial killer because like, he's like kind of a big bitch pussy. Like when like we said, there's 4 characters, and we actually know 3 of them because we got Samantha, Samantha Sloyan, which we
The redhead.
Yep, from a billion projects. And then Michael Trucco is her boyfriend who comes over. He is in Midnight Mass and another one. I can't think of it, but I'm sure it'll come across into my notes at some point. But either way, so we know those 3 characters, and then the other one's the serial killer. And Michael Trucco comes over, and the guy's like, you can clearly rattled. Like, if I have to fight this guy, like, I'm fucked. So he, like, very quickly, like, fucking pulls a nice little magic trick and gets him. Like, he's just, like, a bitchy serial killer throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Farthest thing from, like, Michael Myers as you'll ever have.
Oh, yeah.
But this was cool. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked the internal monologue shit. All of it. Good, solid movie. We go from there. We go to Gerald's Game. So Gerald's Game, 2017. And, right? Or actually, no, you know what? I'm sorry. That's not the next one. The next one is Ouija. Ouija Origins of Evil. 2016. 83% on Rotten Tomatoes. 1960s California. A fake medium's daughter tries to communicate with her late father through a Ouija board, but unleashes a demon instead. Budget, somewhere between 9 and 12 million. Made nearly 82 million worldwide. Made 70 mil, even if it was at that full 12, still made 70 mil. Again, horror movies are able to do that, but again, just showing that this guy, even if it's a small budget, small movie thing, the guy's making money on everything he does, which in Hollywood is a huge plus, huge win. But right away, I think, especially after just watching all of these projects in the last like month, I think this one might be like the odds on like scariest one. Like the one with the most like, at least for me, like the most like genuine like scariness to it. For me. I feel like he did such a good job, especially like the effects that he uses with the daughter, the one that's obviously like possessed. Yeah. The white eyes and the like the mouth, like
the mouth, yeah.
Her like whispering into the ears.
I think it is worse because it's children, like that
Always.
poor little girl.
Always.
You just feel so bad.
That's why Stephen King's It, the first half is always better than the second half because it's scary with kids.
Yeah.
Stranger Things, kids,
yeah.
Stakes higher.
Yeah.
This one had, to me, a lot of scares to it. Creepy movie. Even like she like does that little jump to the wall. And she's like climbing up the wall and shit. I don't know. She just, there's a bunch of times like where they do a good job of using those effects and just basic like camera work in the way of they panic from the story. Like there's the one part where
I think it's definitely the creepiest. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, see? Yeah. The part when they have those letters that they're able to like transcribe from the Polish shit.
Yeah, the Polish one.
Creepy as fuck. So fucking Henry Thomas, a guy that we're going to talk about a ton, he's playing the priest. He is talking to old Shirley from fucking Hill House. Yeah. Damn, I can't fucking think of her name. But he's talking to like the both of them, and basically like I don't even remember how exactly it happens, but they're like, oh yeah, like, you know, kind of like she's downstairs, like she's listening though, and then it quickly like leaves them and goes to her, and she's got like the TV on with that demonic thing, and she's just it's just like, oh shit. That one, you know, the other one that gets me too is fucking remember how like the boyfriend like hangs himself and like his body's just like dangling from the thing, and there's like later on they show it because they show his body a couple times and it's always just dangling. Then all of a sudden at one point he like the body like jumps down and like grabs the fucking mom, I think it is, and just like yanks her up, and I was just like, oh shit. Very creepy. Again, strong child performance. This time is Lulu Wilson. She's like the demonic girl. Lulu, yeah.
Cute.
She was good.
She was good.
This one's currently streaming on Netflix, so that's good. Old-timey vibes, too. Like we said, it's set in the 1960s. Yeah. I did like that. Like the studio part, like the studios that made the movie. Like all the logos were like old coloring and like fainted.
Yeah.
I don't know if you notice. You know what cigarette burns are? Like the circles in the top right corner?
Yeah.
Cigarette burns throughout the entire movie. Yeah. Shout out Fight Club. Which they're releasing in theaters, by the way, for the 25th anniversary, I think it is.
How fun.
Yeah. Anything that we missed, like, being released when we were kids, I like. If there's a chance to go see it in theaters, I absolutely want to take it. Like, seeing Jaws, like, re-released in 4K and IMAX was fucking sick.
No, I believe it.
Sick. They just did like Lord of the Rings. We missed those. I would have liked to do those. Those I did see in theaters though, so I guess that is different. But I would like to see Fight Club in fucking theaters. But yeah, for me, like I said, scariest project in my opinion. Good child performance. Small cameo from Kate Siegel as always. She always finds a way to like just trickle herself in. For the most part, we're going to talk about one out of these 10 projects. She has no version at all of a cameo. This is a small one, just that opening scene, and she's like basically trying to like rip off her dad, which is pretty fucked up. That's why like the
She
fucking
gets mad it doesn't go her way.
yeah, it's very cute how like she's like, all right, you get 3 wishes, and the old man does like the typical like, you know, like in love misses like, oh, I love you, I miss you kind of shit, and then all of a sudden at the end he's like, yo, I think the kids are trying to steal our money. Like I don't know if this is a good business decision. Like our money manager died. Like I don't know what to fucking do.
Tell me what to do.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden the fucking, because it's all, you know, and all
It's all an actual sham.
exactly, yeah, she's just like, don't do that shit.
No.
I think that's pretty much for the most. Oh, you know what? Two other small things actually, I guess. One of the all-time dummy characters, and that's saying something, at least in my opinion, probably the biggest dummy in all of his projects. This boyfriend. I mean, first time he comes to the house, the mom is just like creepy. She's just like, let me read your palms, and then just like presses in on his hand.
I think that's because the dad's not around, and you know,
Okay.
if you lay a hand on my daughter, I'll kill you. Blah blah blah. The whole speech, like, don't fuck over my daughter. The second
Agreed.
time.
Yeah. Probably the
Lulu.
yeah, I almost forgot about that. Scariest part of the movie is not even like a
that's
jump
the
scare.
creepiest.
Yeah.
See, I don't think it's
Do you
like
know what it's
scary,
like to be
like,
strangled to death?
Yeah, that's like yeah. See, that's creepy. The whispering into people's ears, like that's creepy. I don't really think any of his things are like really like.
I would say for me, this and
Scary.
Hill House are the 2 scariest projects as far as like
Hill House,
like
I think, would make me jump more. I'm not really a jumpy person though. You are. You jump more.
I do. And a lot of these things, like, mind you, like I watch so much shit though, and like years go by in between that like I remember like plot lines. You know what I mean? But like I don't remember like individual scenes, so I still jump at shit that I've already seen.
Yeah.
There were a couple times where I jumped, I was like, I've already jumped at this before. Those motherfuckers, they got me again. But yeah, like you were just saying, so the second time is do you know what it's like to be strangled to death? Which is probably, the creepiest part of the movie. She like explains it
and she describes
wild
it. Yeah, and she goes into like what happens when you're first being strangled to what happens when you like your soul leaves your body and you go into the afterlife, and the last thing you remember is just being cold and dark. Okay.
Like it gets hot in your throat, like you breathe fire, and then the
in
last
your
thing
lungs,
is
it starts in your chest, and then it moves to your brain, which actually really makes sense because, like, I have asthma. When I can't breathe, it does start in your chest, and then if you can't breathe, you start to get lightheaded, and it gets all hot, like before you pass out.
I got you.
Yeah.
There you go. I feel you. So that was what. Oh, actually, so then he goes back a third time after that crazy conversation. You have like it.
Let me still go back to see.
You have like you're 17 years old. They also mentioned that she's 15, so you're like a senior dating a sophomore. Her mom is a little hands-on-y, and then her little sister is a full-blown fucking scary psychopath. Yeah. You have to just be like, I'll find a new 15-year-old.
Or
maybe
like,
I'll find some of my own
age. I
age.
will never go back into that house. Just,
yeah.
You know.
You're going to come to my place.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because she sneaks out all the time and gets caught. Like,
good point. Touche. Why
are you going back there?
That's actually what she does in the very... That's right.
He just loves her so much.
Dude, fuck that. And then, like, the sister's not there. And right away, he has the right thought, though. He's like, all right, let me get the fuck out of here. And then somehow just... falls into the trap. She's like, there's some treasure downstairs.
Yeah,
like, I didn't get all that shit. Like, greedy fuck's just like, hell
especially
yeah.
After the first conversation about, you know, the being choked to death and suffocating and dying a horrible death and then being haunted about it. Yeah, let's go back and have another conversation with her and go all the way into her creepy basement and reach into the wall.
And she, like, the whole time, like, good. Again, we talked about the child performance. She's really good. But, like, the whole time, just the way that, like, the tone of her voice. And, and, like, the way she talks. And she's like, it was right down here in the walls. That's how we paid the bills. I think there's some more treasure down here. And it's just like, oh,
It
my
would
God.
really
dude,
help
like,
our family.
yeah, like, you need to run. Like, bro, I get it. You're a
With
big
her
guy.
perfect
Not a big
little
guy.
blonde haircut and her perfect little cute face.
For real. Little angel fucking in the skies. Fucking 17-year-old male. He's probably just like, all right, this little girl, like, I can take her. And it's just like, bro, like,
See,
no.
not
run,
after the first couple. Yeah.
run!
Like, do you want to come in my basement? No, I'm good. Your sister's not here? Okay, goodbye.
For real. Actually, I'm sorry. I still have two quick tidbits. A lot of Stephen King similarities in his work. You can tell that Stephen King is a huge inspiration to him. There is one part towards the end of the movie where she's getting strangled. Her older sister's strangling her. And she opens her mouth, like we talked about a lot. And you see basically like a light that makes the sister, the one that's choking her, like, be paralyzed.
Yeah.
But it looks exactly like Pennywise's death lights from it.
Yeah.
Like exactly the same.
Yeah.
So that was a big takeaway. And then the last thing is actually, funny enough, Oculus ends in the psych ward. This is the same little girl. Now she's in the psych ward instead of her brother, because that's how it ends.
Okay.
Remember how she's in the cuckoo bin?
Yeah.
So
that's
in
right.
Oculus,
Yeah, she's just the child. Yeah.
right, her brother is
Yeah,
the one
for a
that kills
second.
the dad.
Yeah,
He
gotcha.
goes to the loony
Yeah.
bin. This time it's her.
But the younger version of her.
Full circle. Yep. Very, very funny. Same actress, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we go from there. We go to Gerald's Game. Gerald's Game is one that I like a lot because of its simplicity. 2017, direct release to Netflix, 91% from critics on Tomatoes. A woman is stuck handcuffed to her bed after her husband suddenly dies during a kinky sex game at an isolated vacation home. Adapted from the 1992 Stephen King novel. And for a while, it was considered to be, out of like because obviously there's been 1,000 Stephen King adaptations at this point. This one was considered unfilmable basically because it's like a woman like handcuffed to a bed like the entire fucking movie. I get how that's like
Terrifying.
It's true. It's true. But I get how people can just be like, this is kind of like fucking, I don't even know. I wouldn't even say sexist, but this is like, you know what I mean? Just like.
It's not, though. It's like a
looking at a
psychological
woman.
thriller. I
It
don't know.
sure fucking
I think
is.
this is his, like, scariest movie, in my opinion.
Really? Maybe just because of like
I think
the
just
reality
because,
of it?
Yes. Like, I don't think other things like that are scary. Like, they're creepy, don't get me wrong. Like, especially the one we just talked about, Ouija. Like, creepy, but this is actually, like
real.
scary.
Yeah, I get you.
Could really
The
happen.
stakes feel realistic. I get what you're saying. That's good. I feel you. Kind of like what I was just saying though. Like this is one where I feel like a Flanagan's a lot to be credited for how good this is because it is such a simple thing. Like we're talking about again, basically two characters, a dog, and then like a spirit mystery that we don't know. So realistically, again, we're still dealing with like four characters, if you want. Again, one of them is a dog, and one of them we don't know is real.
Yeah.
And you're basically spending the entire movie in one fucking room for the most part. So to make that, like you said, you just said your opinion, the scariest one of his projects.
Yeah.
To be able to do that is wildly impressive.
Yeah.
That's all about his ability to make it
simple,
feel real.
Simple concept, yeah.
It's very, very, very good. This is one of my favorite performances from College of Gino. She obviously is great in pretty much everything that she does, especially with him. But this one was one that, again, same thing. I feel like it's tougher. Like she is just handcuffed to a bed for the entire movie.
Yeah.
And she shines. Like she fucking shines. We see her a little bit like when she's talking to her internal monologue, which those scenes are cool. I like that a lot. When she's talking to herself and you can very much like she's talking her through her own thoughts.
Yeah.
Very cool. And then we see her husband, Bruce Greenwood, who like dies right away, which we're going to talk about him quite a few times because he's in a couple different projects. Doctor Sleep, House of Usher. I like him in this. I like him in this too. He's very like he plays like the sleazy husband pretty well.
Yeah.
Which obviously, like, she mentions a bunch of times, like, he was clearly like, having affairs and shit like that. But he did a good job of being, like, cocky. Kind of actually how he is in House of Usher. Like, actually, he's sleeping around in that, too. So, actually, a lot of similarities there. But he does play that sleazeball kind of very well, I feel like.
Role,
Yeah. So, I feel like he definitely helped elevate the movie as well. We also get a little Henry Thomas role. This one's kind of weird because I do love him and shit, but... Actually, I said I learned two things while doing the prep for the show. I mentioned the Kate Siegel one. The other big one is Henry fucking Thomas, who I've seen in all of these projects, who I like in almost all of these projects. Click his fucking IMDb page, and I see E.T. What the fuck? I'm like, who is this guy in E.T.? And then it says Elliot, and I gasped. I audibly gasped. I could not fucking believe my eyes. I've seen E.T. 2 billion times. I fucking love E.T.
I know.
I never knew it was fucking him. Crazy. Fucking crazy. Child actor, fucking... I mean, you can't call him a star, but...
Was he in anything else as a child or just E.T.?
That's a good question. Let's see. I think that was like the big one that I saw at least. But clearly, obviously, been in fucking Hollywood for forever. When you're like looking at his fucking page, you're like, oh shit, yeah, like he was in a ton of stuff. Like right away, he's in fucking Legends of the Fall, which is a fucking massive movie. Mm-hmm. Raiders of the Lost. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's not the right thing. Wrong. Childhood. He's in Gangs of New York, apparently. He is in The Quest, which I have no idea what the fuck that is, but he's clearly pretty young in that. That's from '86. He's in Dear John. Didn't know that. Yeah, but most of his IMDb pages, I would say mostly littered with Flanagan stuff for the most part. But E.T. thing straight up made me gasp out fucking loud. Wild. Especially since I've seen all of these things before and like a lot of them multiple times. Just never would have known. Absolutely would never have known. But let's see. The internal monologue. You know what? You know what I liked a lot? So we already kind of talked about the big bad shadow in the corner that we never know is real. Kind of like comes to her at nighttime.
Yeah.
Obviously, she's been chained to this
hallucination or not.
Right. Malnourished, not drinking enough. It's at night. We have no idea if it's real. But he does like come towards her like a couple of times. And then there's the bloody footprints.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, at least for me watching it, it very much felt like, all right, we're never going to get an answer. And it's going to be one of those debates. Like in Inception, like, is the thing still spinning? Exactly. Is it not still spinning? Yeah. Is that thing real? Is that not thing real? I very much liked for one time where they straight out were like, yo.
They gave you the closure. Yeah,
this motherfucker was real. And it was wild. The closure. It was like, he fucking killed like a bunch of people. Yeah. He was like robbing graves. I think they said he was like raping dead bodies and shit. He started like cutting up bodies and like they went to his home. He had like 1 billion teeth and severed limbs and shit like that. I was like, oh fuck. Like that's awesome. And then they show him like in the courtrooom and she shows up and he's just like
her little moment. Yeah.
Like, you're real. He was having the same thing. He doesn't fucking know what's real. He's obviously so fucking mentally ill. He doesn't know what's real and what's not real. But he's like, holy shit, you're real too. Because actually, it's cool when they start. I remember, like as they're getting into it, she goes, like the only question left is like they never found my wedding ring. And I was just like, oh shit, and then like it proceeds to go from there.
Yeah, exactly.
It was I like that they really like came out and fucking gave a full blown ending.
I'm big on closure.
Great. I think that was pretty much all I had for that one. I mean, really, the only other thing left is what happened to the dog. Hopefully, he's fine. He was eating good for a couple days. He was just gnawing on Bruce Greenwood's face and body. So he was eating all right. That part was actually pretty creepy too. Imagine like you're already.
Was it the guy? I mean, I don't want to say was it the guy's dog, but like I think they kind of worked together a little bit. Not necessarily, but like it kind of. I don't know. It kind of seemed that way.
He was one of those like grave dogs that are like supposed to keep people out of graveyards at night, and then he was fucking tagged along.
Yeah. Because like he was still there, and like he would bark and he would whine when the guy would come, but he wasn't exactly like not. Like he was still there.
Yeah, he would come right back. It wasn't like he was far away.
No.
Yeah, no, I got you.
In the beginning, it was like an omen.
That was like, so imagine you're already like chained to a bed. You already have your husband dead at the bottom of your feet. You're malnourished. You're freaking out. Like your body's going limp. All of the horrible things. And then all of a sudden, when you're finally getting a little bit of sleep, you wake up and there is a dog trying to gnaw your fucking leg off. And it's like a German Shepherd, no, mind you. It's not like it's a fucking Chihuahua.
That you fed expensive ass steak.
Yeah,
your stupid fucking dead husband got mad at you.
Good call. I forgot all about that. So that dog was eating fucking good. Yeah, fucking Bruce Greenwood's character.
Like, you
says
have the
it's a fucking
audacity to eat my
$200
steak
or some
and eat
shit.
my dead husband, and now you're gonna try to eat me, and I'm not even dead yet.
For real, gives the dog a couple of good kicks, but hopefully the dog turned out all right.
Yeah, it's not his fault.
But I like this one a lot. This is for the movies. I would say I like this one. Ooh, this one and Hush I both like a lot. I think I like these both more than Ouija. Tough to say. I like this one a lot. I like it a lot because, like I said, I like that they're able to take such a simple thing and really make, at least me, like really fucking into it. Like I was on the edge of my seat. And you said it was the scariest one you thought, so clue, there's something fucking to it. Let's see here. How are we doing? All right. Let's get to the last movie, Dr. Sleep, 2019, 75% on Rotten Tomatoes. And basically, this is a sequel to The Shining. Not basically. It is a sequel to The Shining. A now adult Dan Torrance must protect a young girl with similar powers from a cult known as the True Knot, who prey on children with powers to remain immortal. Budget 45 to 55 million, made 72 million worldwide. So while this one made money, it was still considered a flop because it's a big product with actual money behind it. This is definitely Flanagan's like biggest project, budget wise, actors and actresses. Like he's got a real cast for this one.
Yeah.
So they were expecting obviously more than 72 million, but you know, it's actually funny because we're seeing a ton of this now, which is interesting. So the sequel, The Shining, was 39 years prior. So that's probably a big part of it as far as like, is this a reboot? Is this a sequel? A lot of the people that probably love the original are old as fuck now. You know what I mean? You're relying on the new age kids to go back and watch The Shining, which I'm sure a ton have, but regardless. This is something that we're seeing a ton of now. Like Top Gun Maverick just did it. Beetlejuice just did it. These like 20, 30-year late sequels are starting to become almost a regular thing. Gladiator comes out this month.
Yeah.
It's becoming like a regular trend, and this was probably one of the first ones to really do that, which might be why it didn't have exactly maybe all of the success as some of these other ones did. Maybe if this one comes out this year, it makes more money. Because of the success of Top Gun, because of the success of Beetlejuice.
I think if it's actually advertised as a like Shining sequel to like Gladiator 2, Beetlejuice 2, like
okay, I got you. Different. No, that's true. That definitely probably throws people off the fact that it's completely
I had
different.
no idea what this movie was until you just said something about it, and I certainly didn't know it was a Shining sequel until you also said that.
Okay.
Like I thought it was just. Like unless you watch the trailer, but like I haven't seen The Shining in a long time, and in the beginning you're just like, okay, wait a second, like what the fuck is going on? Until you
this feels familiar.
Yeah, and then you have to like kind of,
especially actually the opening.
Like I have not seen The Shining in I don't know how fucking long, so
we'll have to get on that this winter. One of my favorite like winter watches. It's great for like a cold because the movie is very cold. Like you feel it like when you watch it.
Yeah.
Like, they do a great job of making you feel the ambiance of the movie. So that's a great one. We'll have to watch that this winter. But they do like the opening scene though is like, which they do kind of set the table for it right away. Like this is a full true sequel. It's the young version of him.
That's why I said when
pedaling
it
through the
starts
hotel.
it, you're like, okay, hold on, like that's what's going on here. But like. It's not advertised that way unless you watch the trailer. But if you're just like, oh, Dr. Sleep, that sounds cool. Like, let me pop it on. Like, you have no idea that it's.
No, you're totally right. Which all of those things is exactly what led to.
So as a sequel, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Takes on some big time, definitely his biggest, I guess, stars. You got Ewan McGregor and then Rebecca Ferguson, who I think both of them did a good job in this, but I think Rebecca Ferguson was like the standout. Like I thought she was fucking phenomenal in this. Yeah. Like just super fucking like creepy, but like in a cool way. Yeah. I think I said to you when we were watching it, she reminded me of like a cross between a fucking like a hippie witch and a pirate.
Yeah, you did.
Like a very cool fucking vibe to her. Very cool vibe. And she's like the leader of the cult, like the main bad guy of the movie, which I really only know her from like basically Dune, and she's like, like the mother. She was in the Mission Impossible movie for like the first 45 minutes. She was actually pretty badass in that. So I don't really have too much experience with Rebecca Ferguson, but I thought she did a really good job in this. Good character. Like one of those bad guys you're like, even though like they're bad and I want to see them like fucking lose, like
at first I was rooting
this bitch
for
is
her.
cool.
But
Yeah,
then
this
she got
bitch
me.
cool,
Yeah,
man.
she's so cool. A little camper van.
Yeah.
One of those.
For sure. We get a lot of the regulars. We get Bruce Greenwood again, who we just mentioned a bunch of times. We get Henry Thomas, as always. We get to see young Nell, who's not one that we see a lot from Hill House. Violet McGraw, another child performance. The big child performance, though, is... oh, man, I can't think of the poor little girl's name.
In the show?
She plays Abra. Yeah, I can't think of her freaking name. But she was really, really good in this. And she is also in the House of Usher. She is the daughter of Henry Thomas. Like, she's like the granddaughter to the main character that they keep mentioning the whole time. So we're going to be talking more. Pretty much every single character we're going to be fucking talking more about, I feel like. But this is good that it's coming right off the back of Gerald's game, because the creepy figure, mystery, shadow, demon, we don't know if he's real or not, guy from Gerald's game, is also in this. He is one of Rebecca Ferguson's little
he's the old guy.
Members.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's they call him like Grandpa something, I think. I think they literally call him Grandpa something. He's like the oldest of them, because obviously they live mad long and shit.
Yeah.
But he's like tall as fuck. He's just got his little cane and shit.
And he died first.
Yep. Robert Longstreet, he's another one that he's in like a little cult. I feel like he's in like in almost every single project too. So he's like Mr. Dudley from Hill House. He is Joe the Drunk in Midnight Mass.
Yeah. He
is the janitor in Midnight Club. Like he's like literally in everything. And they kind of snuck him into this as one of the cult members too. This is the only one that I'm not pretty sure of, but this is the only one that's got no Kate Siegel appearance. No Kate Siegel. The fucking girl that they casted. Let's see. Alex Esso, the one that plays Dan's mom, looks exactly like the girl from the original fucking Shining. Like, she was such a spot-on casting. She looked so freaking... Oh, man. Like, I thought that was a fucking perfect casting, because I was like watching it and I was just like, because we also see Henry Thomas in this one's like very small role. He's playing literally Jack Nicholson's character. Yeah,
which they did a really good job. He looks really good.
Yeah, I thought it took me a second to recognize him. So you're absolutely right. Like it wasn't like very clear as day. Like obviously it's not Jack Nicholson, but I didn't know it was him until I realized, like, oh shit, that's Henry Thomas.
Yeah, but like you knew it was obviously supposed to be Jack Nicholson, but like
correct, you just didn't know it was
really
him.
Good job.
Yes, right. Actually, the mom from The Shining, I know that she died recently. I think in the last like couple of years. Shelley Duvall. Let's see, Shelley Duvall. I know she just died in the last couple of years. Yeah, she died in 2024. She died literally this year. And then fucking, like I said, Alex Esso is the one that plays her in Dr. Sleep. And she literally looks exactly the same. Like exactly the same. It's like wildly impressive. Like she looks exactly the same as her. It's great casting. The Henry Thomas one, yeah, they pulled it off. A lot of makeup. Shout out to the makeup team on that one.
Yeah.
Couple of cool things about this one as far as the Stephen King shit goes, because I could be reading into it, but it's like literally by far my favorite Stephen King project, and it's one of a movie that I've seen more times than any person should ever see any movie. And then you take the fact that it's like almost 4 hours long, and it's like, you have a problem. But that is Storm of the Century, which you can actually watch on Hulu. But there were a couple of ties fucking to that I was like, again, I know he takes a lot of things from Stephen King, but there's a part where Rebecca Ferguson, probably my favorite scene of the movie, she's like flying across the country through her mind to go and try to basically take a peek on Abra, try to find out exactly where she is. But when she's flying exactly how the main character in Storm of the Century flies. Exactly the same. And then she also, which that scene was sick, she ends up like getting trapped by Abra. Abra like fucking traps her. She like fucking slams her hand in the little file drawer and shit. And like force kicks her fucking across the goddamn country and she was spinning. That scene was fucking cool. It looked really fucking cool. But then she uses like a couple lines. Like she keeps saying like live long, eat well is one that she says. And then in fucking Storm of the Century, Andre Lenovich says like a few times, it's like live long, see far, live long, learn much. Like it's very much like the same and he like almost the same like tone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he says it the same way, almost like it's trying to convince you. Like he's trying, you know what I mean? He's trying to like win you over kind of a thing. But this one's good. This is probably, like I said, this is his biggest project as far as budget with the stars and all that. It's a Stephen King direct sequel. So this was his biggest undertaking. And I thought it was really good. I liked this movie a whole lot. Pretty much all of it, we already kind of met like the good child performances, the fact that he was able to take the hotel, like the hotel still felt just as creepy as ever, especially like the third act, they go back to it. Still felt hella creepy. Third act's cool. We get the twins again. We get him kind of turning into Jack Nicholson. He's running around with the axe. Third act's really, really cool. This strong movie. Strong. Probably like, I don't know. It's so tough for me to like rank these things. I like them all so much. I think if I'm like on rewatchability at least, I think Gerald's Game and Hush are my two highest ones as far as rewatchability. Maybe because they're just like simple, easy, like 90-minute watches. Could be something to do with it. This one's a long. This one's like 2.5 hours. I know. This one's a little bit to get through. Anything else on that one before we move? Anything else that you might have liked?
No,
stood out to you?
Good. No.
I think that's pretty much all I had for that one. So that is going to wrap for the 5 movies. So, oh shit, we were actually taking a little bit longer than I thought. Oh well. Those are going to wrap for the 5 movies. All of them good, all of them enjoyable, all of them well liked by critics, all of them well liked by us, all of them great for spooky season. Honestly, like if you haven't fucking checked them out, hopefully you forget about any things that we might have mentioned and spoiled it. Go check them out. And if you haven't seen them in a while, go fucking check them out again because that's what I just did and I enjoyed them all. Have you seen any of those movies prior to like this year?
No.
Ouija Doctors, no, right?
Nope.
All right, so those were all first time watches for you, and you liked all 5.
Correct. I did. Yeah.
What more can you ask for? What more can you ask for? Now, like I said, kind of off the top, 5 movies, all pretty damn good. The Netflix series, to me, is where he fucking shines. This is where he elevates himself in the horror genre. For the last, 10 to 12 years, so Oculus was 2013. His last show was The House of Usher, which was 2023. So you basically have, a 10-year window where he's been putting out consistent 10 projects, 10 years. They're all, good, which, is wild to say. There so many times that people can't even put 2 projects back to back out that are good. Never mind to put out 10 projects that are all totally different movies,
and all those
shows.
Series are great.
It's
Far
insane.
better than all the movies.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy that he's able to do that. It's not just to show how talented, but how consistent he is in the horror genre, which is why, like I said, this is why we're doing this show around him. To me, he is fucking so talented, and I love his shit. And he's got a couple things coming down the pipe. He's got fucking an Exorcist movie, which fucking hell yeah, it's gonna be dope. But anyway, let's get to the series now. So Haunting of Hill House was 2018. Right after this, based off the success, instantly Netflix was like, yo, we gotta lock this motherfucker down.
Yeah.
Gotta get
Such
it.
an amazing show.
Yep. Which now that contract has ended, and now he's been instantly re-signed again. He's going to Prime now. He's with Amazon, and he's taken it's a guy named Trevor Macy. He's produced every single one of his projects. He brought him with him, so they're a package deal, and now they're just going. So now you know that when he goes to Amazon, he's just going to be bringing all these actors and actresses along with him.
Great.
So it seems like the good times is just going to keep on rolling, which is great. But the first one, like we said, Haunting of Hill House, 2018, 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. Flashing between past and present, a fractured family confronts haunting memories of their old home and the terrifying events that drove them from it. It is a reimagining of the Shirley Jackson novel, which was published in 1959. It is on that bookshelf right there. I read the first 2 chapters of it. It took me about an hour to read through the first 2 chapters because it's basically in old fucking English. I'm great. I know I'm really good as far as like dictionary and like knowing words and their meanings. There was like 15 fucking times in 2 chapters where I'm like, stop, I have to go to the dictionary
look and see what
because
this
I
is.
don't know what like this means. Just old time shit. But regardless, not the first time it's been adapted. I mentioned this to you, and I think you said you watched it. But 1999, they did the movie The Haunting. Good cast.
That I have seen. Yeah.
You have seen it?
Yes.
Yeah. So honestly, like I actually enjoy the movie. I think the movie's pretty good. The last act is tough because they like have to use like 1999 like CGI technology.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's like really tough to watch. So the third act is a little tough, but I think before that, like solid movie. Like I said, Liam Neeson, Owen Wilson, Catherine Zeta-Jones, good little cast. But this was the first, like I said, the first one that he did for next one. This is what got him his whole deal. And to me, like when I say this is like a masterpiece, like I truly, truly mean that. Like there have been series like on this show that I've really, really talked about. Like I've tried to express a billion times how good the first season of True Detective is. Like I've tried to drill it into the audience. To anybody that hasn't seen, like you have to watch the first season of True Detective. Same thing with like The Sopranos and a couple of other things. Like watch The Haunting of Hill House if you haven't seen it. And almost honestly, like if you haven't seen it, like skip 15 minutes ahead so that you don't hear any of the things that we're about to talk about. Because it is truly like, I think it's that fucking good. Like, I think he directs his ass off in this fucking movie. I think he does a great job with multiple child performances.
Yeah.
The young Luke, the young Nell, and then the young Theo, all 3 of them, I think are just phenomenal. And I think the storytelling is incredible. There's a constant twist and a constant turn. They do a cool job of kind of using some episodes based on one character to try and kind of show how they went from not believing to believing or why they believe. Like Luke has his whole entire own episode. Yeah. Nell gets her entire own episode. Theo gets basically her own entire own episode.
The oldest brother there too, Steve.
Steve and they basically
towards the end, but
they basically all get like in some moderation, like their own. If it's not a full episode, it's basically like a nice chunk, like a nice 20 or 30 minutes. Like I feel like Steve kind of does that. Steve and Shirley, I feel like both kind of get like 20 to 30 minute like chunks. But like I said with Ouija, like this and Ouija to me are the 2 like genuine, true, scary projects. Like this one I did this a few times where it's like creepy. Like this is fucking eerie and scary.
I think this is definitely scarier and creepier than Ouija for sure.
The fucking it gets me every time. I've seen the show like 4 times, but it's I think it might be it's either the last episode or the 9th episode when Shirley and Theo are driving in the car towards the house to go and like save Luke, and they're having their bickerment, and then all of a sudden fucking Ghost Nell
in
just like
shoots
from the it's fucking crazy. Like I said, I've seen it like 4 times. Gets me every time. Let's see. Big things. Victoria Pedretti is fantastic in this. Carla Gugino is fantastic in this. She does a great job of just straight up looking frightening a couple times. Yeah. Like that first time when she realizes that she's going a little bit loopy and she's crying and she looks at the house and she's like, I think I have the rest of these migraines. And I'm just like, please don't do that ever again. Please just don't do that ever again.
You had a knife to my throat. No, I didn't.
Oh, yes. That's a great one.
Yeah, when she's on top of him with the fucking screwdriver.
Yeah, she literally that's exactly what she said.
She like,
no, I wasn't.
And she's already like coming to terms with what she was doing. Like she's already like, oh my God, no, and drops the knife. And then he's explaining it to her and she's just like crazy all over again.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't.
Right, yeah. That's exactly the line that does it.
Yeah.
No, I
wasn't.
Bitch, everybody at home on their couches just saw it.
Yeah.
We all just saw it. You were about to stab
you actually
that
admitted it right before this, but yeah, you know what? You take a minute, reprocess.
I love Henry Thomas is good at this podcast because she goes, I was having the craziest dreams. He's like, yeah, no shit.
You think?
Oh fuck. You know one creepiness, child actors scenes when young Luke and young Nellie are talking to college Gino, and they're like, "Would you wake me up during this dream?"
Yeah.
And it's basically like what's going to happen to them in their lives.
Exactly.
That Nell monologue, she goes on the longer one of the two, is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Like very, very fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Great, like the fucking kids. Like I said, I don't know if it's just
she does really, really well in that series.
She does. Like I said, it can't just be all casting. Like it can't just be that he's just like finding the best kids all the time. Like child acting is a thing that has brought down tons of things over the time and actually elevated a bunch of things over time. And it's like this guy's clearly not just, he's obviously picking talented kids, but like on top of that, you have to imagine that he's doing like a great job with them on set of like,
yeah, directing them and actually like getting them to express the right feelings in the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, because obviously you have to like, bring yourself down to like a childlike level, especially like in this, like Nell and Luke have to be like single digits. Maybe 10.
Obviously.
Like maybe 10.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like that. You're really fucking.
I'd say like probably 8 or 9 max.
Yeah. Like fucking a tough fucking thing to do. This is one of my 2 or 3 favorite. I like Hush. I like this one. I like this Kate Siegel role a lot. Kate Siegel as Theo. I like her a lot. Kind of a tricky role, sort of in a way, because she is kind of an oddball, but she's also like seemingly a lot smarter than a lot of the other people in the room a lot of the time. She's like dry, sarcastic, older, fucking kind of a bitch to her girlfriend there. Kind of hard, like a little too hard. But I like Kate Siegel a lot in this one. Let's see. Shout out Nathan Scott. Shout out Nathan Scott and James Lafferty. That's right. Shirley's fucking affair.
Yeah.
God damn it. Guy just keeps popping up.
Yeah, this was the second time. I was like, you didn't tell me he was in this either.
I didn't know. I forgot all about it. They do show him, though, like in a couple of episodes. Like, they only show, like, the story. I think it's either in the finale or the 9th episode. But,
yeah,
like,
actually, I've seen this before, actually.
They pop him in
I
there.
had no
remembrance
of him being in it, actually. So,
like I said, I fucking watched the show probably like 4 times or something like that, and fucking still forget that he was in it. Before I get to the main thing, I think that's pretty much all I had. All right, so the biggest part about the show, the biggest part of Flanagan just straight up flaunting his shit is in this show. Episode 6, it's called Two Storms. If you guys have seen the show, I'm sure you know the episode that I'm talking about. But the episode constantly goes back between the older and younger versions, just like most of the episodes do. But there's 2 storms obviously going on in both. And the entire episode is shot in a series of long shots. I think it's like 7 or 8 shots, like all together, just crammed into one episode, including the opening, which is 17 straight fucking minutes.
yes.
It's one of truly, like, when I say one of the most incredible things I think I've ever seen, it's truly one of the most incredible things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The very, very first time I ever watched it, I remember, like, very clearly, like, say, like, I don't know, 7 or 8 or 9 minutes into it, like, my brain, like, hit a little, like, click where I was like, I don't remember this camera, like, panning to another view.
Yeah.
Like, I've noticed it for the last 60 seconds now, and I've been trying to, like, in my brain, go backwards while also still watching to see if it's going, and I'm just like, I, like, stopped and restarted the episode from the beginning. And I noticed, I was like, holy shit, like, this is one fucking take.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's just the fucking older characters or just the younger characters. They do this funeral scene where you have characters walking in and out, different versions, young versions, old versions. You're panning the camera.
Yeah.
Characters are coming, like the dad enters halfway through the fucking scene. Nell is a ghost and in a fucking coffin. There's just constant changing and switching the whole 17 minutes. And it's like, to me, like, as someone who loves to watch movies and television, flabbergasted.
Yeah.
It's
I think it's cool and I'm not you.
It's fucking, like, the amount of people that all had to do their jobs perfectly. Like
Yeah.
if one person
That's why I watched
fucks
that
up.
little thing about it. I was like, oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah. That's a good point by her. You can watch like a making of on Netflix if you have seen the show and you want to. It's very cool. Not on Netflix, I'm sorry, on YouTube. It's like a making of the episode, which is very, very cool. But to have like all of those people, because it's not just the actors and actresses, it's the cameraman,
All the
it's the
moving
lighting.
parts. Yeah,
Every single
like-
person has to be seamlessly together. And if one person fucks up, that's it.
Yeah.
Trash it, and
you
we
have to
go
start
back
again.
all from the
Yeah.
beginning. Like, that's fucking awesome.
Which I think when I was watching that, I don't even think they like fucked up that many times. Like they had practiced it so many times and over again and kept moving and shifting things and like
Yeah, just breaking it
at one
down.
point it was just like one big, like I said, like moving group of people and things behind the camera, and the camera's just like moving around while everyone is standing behind it, just filtering in and out of the fucking scene.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And it's just like, even like, again, it's just like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I fucking, Portuguese family, there's kids everywhere. Like, we have Riley all the time. I got all my nieces and all of my nephews. It's like, all right, guys, you're going to walk in a circle and you're not going to make any noise. It's just like, that's not going to happen. That's simply not going to happen. And then you got like, you know, like these two child kids, they're rotating around. It's just like I said, it's not just the actors and actresses. Like I said, it's lighting, it's
Yes,
cameras,
everything.
it's
It's
fucking
everything.
absolutely everything being perfect. And like you said, obviously that's what they had to do, was just keep just breaking it down into small parts and, you know, perfecting those so that you're able to just bring it all together. But then even from there, the rest of the episode is like the same thing. Like I said, I think the whole thing is like in 9 shots or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's just It's
Have
a
you
good
seen
episode.
1917?
I don't know.
We're going to put that on the board and we're going to move it to the
think
top
so.
of the list.
I think so.
It is like, I think it's like 17 shots at the most, but it's World War One, so you have like long shots of guys
Yeah,
like
you told
running
me
through the
about
trenches
that.
through no
No,
man's
I
land. It's
haven't seen that,
fucking
no.
sick. It's fucking sick. Saw that in IMAX too. It's freaking phenomenal. I think it's like 17 shots or something like that. It's fucking so cool. We'll have to watch that. Like I said, we'll put that towards the top of the board. But like I said, that episode to me is, this series is one of my all-time favorite series. Like one of my all-time favorite series.
Agree.
And this episode in particular is like one of my favorite episodes of television from anything. Not only is it one of my favorites, I think it's one of like the best. Like I think it's like as good of an episode of television as you can basically get. It's creepy and scary. There's a few times where you're like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then there's also like just fucking, I love the episode so much. I love it so much. I was getting fucking when they're telling the story about young Nell and the Santa Claus, the fucking letter, and she only asked for gifts for her siblings and shit.
So precious.
I was like fucking, it was getting dusty in the room. I didn't know what was happening. It was crazy. Oh man, it's such a good episode. Like I said, it's creepy and fucking scary. Oh, such just top-notch fucking television. Top-notch series.
I agree.
Yeah. And it's my favorite thing that Flanagan's done. That's my number one. And there's a 1A, and we're going to be getting to that one very, very, very soon.
Yeah, I still think I don't know. I have seen that one the most.
Hill House.
That was my third time watching it. Yes.
Okay.
With you was my third time watching it.
Okay.
And the other one was only my second time watching it over again, and I still just like it more.
Okay. All right. Well, we're almost there. We have one more to get through first. The Haunting of Bly Manor, 2020. This was the first one that was officially part of that Netflix contract. This was 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. After an au pair's tragic death, an uncle hires a young American nanny to care for his orphaned niece and nephew who reside at Bly Manor. Mostly acts as an adaptation of the 1898 novel Turn of the Screw by Henry James. Now, I say 1898 with like emphasis. It is not going to be the oldest story mentioned on this podcast, which is fucking insane because that's 128 years ago or some shit like that, almost 130 years ago. That's wild. Shit still plays, man. You just got to change some shit around, make it modern, and look at that. I would say right off the top, the first thing I want to say about this show is that I think it got a horrible shake. I think that it came off the back of Hill House, which was, like I said, a
very
masterpiece.
Different. Yeah, very different.
Yeah, it's all, yes. Like, first of all, it's a masterpiece. And second of all, it is, like I said, it's very scary, at least in my opinion. And then you have this show, which is, in my opinion, very, very good. It's not as good, and it's nowhere near as scary.
No, and it also comes out with like almost the same exact name, like The Haunting of. So
Yeah,
you
I gotcha.
very
Yeah,
much
yeah.
think it's gonna be like the first one.
Or
like a sequel, prequel, some sort of something.
No, you're absolutely right. Like I said, I get why, especially at the time, that it got that shake.
Yeah.
I think in hindsight, now, if you do go back and rewatch it, I think it plays, at least in my opinion, much better. I liked it at the time, though, too. So maybe I'm just, I could be biased.
I like it. It's not like I don't like it. Again, I mean, I've obviously only seen, like, I watched it, but I only remember up until the 4th or 5th episode. Like,
Actually, that's a good thing to know. This is the only one that she did not watch this fall season. She has seen it.
Yeah. I watched it once, but like I don't really remember
all of the ins and outs.
Yeah.
When
was this? 2020?
This was 2020. Yes.
Yeah.
This one's very much like, it's not that it's not scary. Like, it's still, the whole thing has like a creepy aura around it, and it definitely has a few moments that are like, oh shit, like that was scary, but they're few and far in between, not nearly as much. But to me, like,
yeah, it's a different kind of scary.
It is
kind of.
This is like a true blue ghost story.
Yeah.
Like a true goddamn ghost story with, like, you know, romantic drama fucking mixed in.
Love and drama and
romantic drama mixed in. Which, you know, I'm a romantic guy.
Horror, like all the killing and death is like rooted in love or jealousy or
You just described basically almost all of Flanagan's stuff.
It's not just like senseless killing. It's not just like, you know.
Yeah. Hush, I think, is like the only like senseless killing that I can think of, like, in any of this shit.
Mango. Thank you.
You got it, man. Yeah, no, all of his, like, everything about all of his projects, I feel like are very much involved with, like, you know, love and that duality between, like,
well, yeah, so Hill House has a lot to do with love too, like,
yes,
like the mother's love, I forgot her fucking name, but like all of it, like, it's just scary. Like, Hill House is just, it's a different type of horror.
It's a very different type of horror, for sure. And like I said, you know, I'm fine with that. Like, I'm totally cool. Like I said, I get it at the time because everyone was expecting the same thing. But like I said, now in hindsight, I think it plays much better. And I, like, especially for me, like, I love this show. I just rewatched. That was the only thing I rewatched without you. And I love this show. I really, really do. Like, again, like, you know, I'm a romantic guy. So that's probably got a lot to do with it. You know, I love ghosts. I love romance. This is perfectly built for me. As far as characters go, this is a part of this show that I would like to kind of really dive into a little bit. Victoria Pedretti, wildly talented girl, spectacular in Hill House. I love her in You. She is such a kooky bitch as Love, funny enough, in You. This is and this is by no means against her. This isn't saying that she's not good. This is my least favorite character. And I think this actually, if anything, this is almost like, I would say, like a con, I guess, against Flanagan, because he's creating these characters and he's writing them. This is one of my, like, least favorite Flanagan characters, like, in anything.
I think she's, like, I think it's my least favorite role that she plays, but she plays it well. Like, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't her. The bill. No, I don't even think it's him either. I think it's just like.
See, I think it's the character.
But I think it was. Like, I think it's intentional. I don't think she's supposed to be her normal. Like, I think she has a very laid back love story.
Very fucking whiny in this show. She's very whiny. Like, constantly breaking down because she keeps seeing the ghost of her ex-boyfriend, and it's like, let me tell you something.
Because she's emotional. I don't know. I think it's. like I said, my least favorite role, because she definitely does play the kooky bitch, and like she's very well as the sentimental and like loving sister in
Hill House.
Hill House. Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, we
But
didn't mention in Hill House that the final episode with her and her siblings when they're in the fucking red room and it's all confetti. You want to talk about getting dusty? It's another time. It got real dusty in there for me. Fucking, I love that part. When they're like, there were so many things like, she's like, no.
Yeah.
I know all, like, it's all good, bro. Like, it's all confetti is a
Yeah.
great line.
But I think I don't know. I think from what I remember, I think she played the role well. Like,
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It wasn't it wasn't a knock against her. Like I said, if anything, it would be a knock, in my opinion, at least, be a thing I would knock against Flanagan because he is writing these characters. But there probably is something to what you just said.
yeah,
It's
I think
probably
it
somewhat
fits. Like,
intentional.
I think it very much.
Well, here's the thing: if she just wasn't a complete fucking bitch and try to leave her fiance, who was her childhood sweetheart, who she's been with her entire life, right on the eve of their wedding, and then try to be like, I still want to be together. Maybe you
she
should
just
be haunted.
Wasn't
Maybe you should be
ready.
haunted. Maybe you should be traumatized. Maybe you should suffer. And then she basically, saying like, I
wasn't,
still
like,
want to be
mean
together
about
is
it.
what got him killed. Of course not. Of course she wasn't mean about it. That's like typical, like, oh, I still want to be friends. It's not you, it's me. I'm just not ready
She
to
didn't
be in a
even want to be
relationship.
friends. She just wasn't ready to like get married.
What the fuck? They've been childhood sweethearts. Some girls are like, yo, we've been together for 2 years. If this guy doesn't get me a fucking ring soon, it's fucking over.
Listen,
These guys have been together for like 20 fucking years probably at this point. They were like falling in love at 12 and now they're like probably 30. Actually, they're probably not even. They've been in love their whole lives. This guy's like head over. This guy is living the dream. He's like, oh my God, I've had one pussy for my entire life. She's the one. She's never been fucking violated by anybody else. This is perfect. I love her. My family loves her. And the next thing you know, she's leaving me right before the altar. And then I'm getting smashed by an 18-wheeler because of her.
she said she just didn't want to get married. She didn't say she was leaving him. Like, I'll still be with you. We
Bro,
can still
his
fuck.
reaction was perfect. Bro, if we're childhood sweethearts and you're leaving me on the eve of our wedding, fuck
I'm
you.
not saying it wasn't a freaking
Fuck
cunty
you.
move. I'm just
Fuck you.
saying, like,
Oh, man. But, no, I think there's something to what you just said as far as it being intentional, that her character probably... She's supposed to be sympathetic,
she
though.
seems like
I
an
don't know,
emotional
man.
twat.
She
Like, I
is.
think
Oh,
that's
she
very-
really is. She really, really is.
I don't know. I don't
Thank God
think.
for my girl Jamie, who we're going to get to in like 2 seconds. Before we get there, again, child stars. This is my favorite one, baby. Amelia Bea Smith. She is perfectly fucking splendid as Flora. I love this little girl.
She is cute.
She should be the star of everything going forward.
Yeah.
If she's anything as good as she is in this for the rest of her life, she's going to be the greatest actress that ever lived. She is so fucking good in this show. I love her. She makes me laugh from the moment that she sets on the screen for the first time. Basically throughout, anytime that she's supposed to be funny throughout. Because there are a couple times she's supposed to be like scared and shit, and she does a great job with that too. She does such a great job of all that shit with the screaming and the gasps and all that. But she's so fucking funny. That first episode when she's just like, the stairs, they're brutal on the knees. It's just like, dude, it's just like, I fucking love this kid. She's so great.
Biased. I think you're very much biased to the little girl and her little British accent and her little cute face.
She's fucking dead. I love her. I love her so much. She tries to help fucking Pedretti's character constantly.
Yeah, because
Stay in your bed.
she's an
Promise me.
emotional twat. She's a dummy. She plays it well though. It's a good character.
Oh man, there's like a British word for mad at that she uses. I can't fucking think of it, but it made me laugh too. Like, are you? Oh, I can't fucking think of it. But it's just, it's like, are you mad at me, basically? But it's like a British slang word instead of mad. Oh, I can't fucking think of it. That's gonna kill me. Are you crass with? Nah, I don't know. Something. I'm gonna keep saying it in her accent in my head though. But great performance from her. Like I said, we've already talked about a lot how good his child performances is from his child actors. This one is like, this is my number one. I fucking love this kid. And then, like I said, I want to keep going with the characters. Victoria Pedretti's didn't really love. Flora character, I love. And then as far as... It's tough because some of his shows, like the one we're going to be talking about in a minute, is Midnight Mass. There's so many, like, quote-unquote side characters. This one only has, in my opinion, like 3 or 4, maybe 5 side characters. And I think 4 of them, like, are fucking awesome. I love all 3 of the workers. Jamie the gardener, Owen the cook, and then Mrs. Grove, who's basically like the housekeeper, virtually. All 3 of them, I love all 3 of the characters. And Jamie the gardener, like, especially. Like, she's one of my, like, even though she's like a side character, she's one of like my favorite written characters that he does. I think she's fucking awesome. There's like one episode, I know you said you didn't remember all the ins and outs, but there's one episode where she's talking to Pedretti, and she's basically like giving her life story. She's like, mom was this, dad was that, this happened, this happened, this happened. And like the way that she delivers the whole thing, I freaking loved. Like, she's still got like the tough exterior when she's saying the story, but you can tell like underneath, the actress does such a good job of showing that she is like, she's got the soft spot under the shell, which she shows a lot like in this entire series. Like, she's very, very, very good at that. And then the other one is the guy who was in Hill House, the old version of Luke, Oliver Jackson Cohen. He plays the bad guy basically in this.
Yeah.
He is like he's like the driver, you know, of the like the family basically or whatever. But he's like the bad guy who, you know, tries to take over the twins' body, the kid's body and shit.
Well, I remember in the beginning his whole little story there.
He was good as a bad guy.
Yeah.
Obviously, like Hill House, he's like, even though he's kind of
I think he fit the junkie role too. Very.
Oh no, he did. Oh no, I think this guy's talented. I actually just saw. I found a new show.
Old timey driver with like the slacks and the coat and the jacket, and I think he very much fits the old timey villain.
And he's got that. I'm pretty sure it's Scottish. I could be wrong, but it's not English. It's either Irish or Scottish. That accent. But he's got like that cigarette and the old school lighter, and he's got that look in his eye, and he's just like, "You are a skis ball, dude.
So I said,
I can see it on you."
The whole look,
yes,
the whole vibe, yeah.
And it's very different from, like you just said, in Hill House, like being even though, and you know, at least like it's hard to always tell in Hollywood because a lot of people are smaller in stature. So like when there's someone even of like 6 foot, they look like huge. He is like a bigger guy.
He definitely looks bigger in Bly than Hill House.
Okay, you think so? Because even like in Hill House, I feel like he's like a
he does look like bigger, but guy. He just looks like it's a completely different demeanor. Yeah, skinny and sickly and like a junkie, but he's still like he just.
Well, that's kind of what I was gonna say.
Even when he's clean, like his whole body stature is just different in. Bly, like he just comes off as the villain. He plays it well. Yes,
because I was saying, like in Hill House, I feel like he's such a little poor thing. Like even though he's like I said, like he's like he's like a bigger guy, and I'm just like, oh my god, You poor little junkie who lost his twin.
Poor thing.
Oh man, I feel so bad for Luke. He had a horrible fucking life. His mom died. He was brought up by his aunt. His dad was like.
They were all raised the same. They all had the same shit happen to them, and one of them is a junkie.
They're all fucking crazy. But no, thought he was really good as a bad guy. Very good. And I actually found us a new show that it's like The Orange Man or something like that. But he's the star of it.
Is it about Trump?
It's about like no, it's about like I think it's about a gay couple that comes home from like either World War I or World War II and has to deal with like life after the war and like I don't know, being like a gay couple and I think in like England or some shit like that.
Yikes.
But it's got like I think it was like 95% on tomatoes or some shit like that. And I'm pretty sure it was Apple, which let me tell you something. Apple does the worst job. Whoever markets at Apple should literally be fired and be working at like your local Burger King because he is a disgrace to humanity.
Not on Burger King, I think.
You know what? You're right. I apologize. I do love me some BK. Get it your way, baby. Fucking, he is. There's nothing on Apple that's marketed well. Like nothing, and I'm pretty sure that one's another one. I'm pretty sure that one's on Apple. Just terrible goddamn marketing. But yeah, we're gonna have to check that one out. I'm pretty sure it's like the Orange Man or the Orange Guy or the Orange. It's something orange. Let's see. Was there anything else I wanted to mention? Probably, actually, a couple of the small things. Henry Thomas. Probably my least favorite Henry Thomas role. Just kind of like... sort of boring, I guess. Bless you. Just like pretty much trapped in his office the whole show, like talking to himself. Just kind of like... And got like a decent amount of screen time too. Like, yeah, probably my least favorite role. And I usually like him pretty much all of them. The only other thing I would say is that before we move on to the next one, is that I fucking love this ending. I really, really, really love the ending of this show. Again, I'm a romantic. So the fact that Jamie and Pedretti were able to get a bunch of years together in harmony and peace in their little house, in their little apartment with their little plants, made me so happy and so precious. I loved it so much. And then, oh my God, Owen and Miss Groves, just like when Jamie, the gardener, is doing the storytelling, and she says how, obviously at the end, we find out Miss Groves is dead, and Owen, like, got the body out of the well himself, and then rode all the way to the coroner's building with her. And then he demanded to clean the body himself and stayed with her all the way until the burial.
It's true love.
Fuck me. That was the dustiest. Like, that gets me I've seen that show like 3 times now, I think. And God damn it. Just so fucking precious. Just so fucking precious. Loved the ending of this show. And then I kind of love how we see that Flora and Miles both turned out totally okay. And not just okay, but they were able to be lucky enough for whatever reason to be free of their memories of Bly. Like, they remember that they grew up at Bly.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah, they remember that, like, you know, whatever. You know that their parents died in a plane accident. They remember, like,
they just don't actually remember the
ghosts, the
haunting, and the ghosts, and everything that actually affected them. Yeah,
that's so sweet. I love it so much. Flora ended up perfectly splendid. We move on. Yeah, we're doing fine. We'll go for 2. We're moving on to Midnight fucking Mass. Number 1A for me, and I think number 1 for you.
Number 1 for me, yeah. I love Midnight Mass. I love it so much.
2021, 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. The arrival of a charismatic priest brings miracles, mysteries, and renewed religious fever to a dying town. My second favorite project. Like I said, this is 1A for me. I mean, I love religious horror. Like, religious horror kind of hits me. Like, I like religious horror a lot. If it's good. It can also be, like, super, super bad, and then it's, like, really, really bad. But when it's right, it's right. And I know right now, Salem's Lot is something that's been in the headlines lately because they just did that new HBO movie, which I haven't seen yet because it wasn't supposed to be that good. Like, the reviews were shit. Otherwise, I would have made you watch it already. But to me, it's not a direct creation of Salem's Lot, but this is everything that you could want from, like, a Salem's Lot show, as far as, like, going back to your old town and it being fucking overrun with vampires and shit. Like, this hits it fucking out of the park for me. There's a lot of cool things that we're gonna get to. One of the biggest and coolest things about this, I continued to mention where he's gotten adaptations, where he's gotten ideas from. This one was 100% entirely created from his own mind. It's written by him. No source material, nothing. Yeah. This is him.
And now knowing that, maybe subconsciously, that's, like, why I like it the most. Because I do like...
Oh, shit.
I don't know. It's, like, probably 1 and 1A for me because I love Hill House. I love it so much. But I don't know. I just like Midnight Mass more. I am a sucker for vampires. I fucking love vampires. And... I just think it's so great. There's so many great monologues by the crazy lady with the red hair and also by the priest. Like, It's just, and I did grow, not religiously. I didn't grow up religiously, but, like.
No. I got you. Your family's definitely, like, more
background than you, and it's like.
For sure. No, for sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, no.
It's
definitely
creepy to think about.
Like I said, if you do
vampire kind of.
Religious horror, right? Like, I feel like it is very, 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 very creepy. So let's kind of get into those people that you were just talking about, because we were just talking about a couple of my favorite characters that he's done. This one, like, I don't want to be too over the top. I'd have to really, really, really think about it. But this might have my 2 favorite, like, not just, like, characters, because I fucking hate Bev Keane, but, like, the 2 best performances, like, in his shit.
Like, She just fits the role
So let's do her first. Yep.
So well. I love her.
Okay. So this is Samantha Sloyan. Who we've talked about a couple of times. A bunch of his characters. She plays Bev Keane. Continue. Go ahead. Go on.
So like seeing this and then seeing because I watched this last year, obviously, with you. And then seeing her in...
One of the first things you watched together.
Hush as the neighbor. Like...
Very small role. Yep.
It's such a small role, but I'm like, no, you're not the normal neighbor who has a normal life. Like,
I get
very
you.
much are
Yeah.
lady.
Yep.
Like, even seeing her in a different show that we haven't talked about yet, it's like, it's just...
Small role in Hill House, but like small role. Like she doesn't really do much. She's just Steve's wife.
Yeah, not really memorable as like
No.
her as an actress.
Nope.
Like,
Definitely not.
Her in this show in Midnight Mass, she is like
fucking
amazing.
incredible. Yeah.
Amazing.
Like wildly,
you want to follow
wildly
her almost,
hateable.
even though, but if I was in this little town and everything else seemed crazy and she was saying all these things and she's always getting her way.
Oh, she's a manipulator.
She's always like, she is a force.
Yeah.
So like,
oh yeah, no, she is.
I wouldn't have backed her, but I can see why people would back her. Like, get the fuck out of the way or else that's it. Like,
There
she's
are
a force.
times in the show where Father Paul is actually doubting himself, even though he's hopped up on vampire blood, and she's just like,
her
no,
monologues.
motherfucker.
Yes.
Like, no, you are that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's actually like after he kills Joe.
And it's all for herself, not her self-worth, but it is very much like,
oh, she's always looking out for
gratify herself. Yeah,
oh,
like,
yeah.
she must always prove that, like,
always out for herself.
Yeah.
Just like
she is amazing, though. She fits it so well. She's just so well in that show.
When you talk about hateable characters, like I feel like it's almost hard, like to be more hateable than her. Like she is a manipulative, racist, dog-killing, fucking piece of shit. Just like
I said, I wouldn't have backed her, but like I get why people do.
Just truly a heinous fucking human being.
She plays it so well.
She does. Weirdly, like she probably just like in the moment, just feeding off adrenaline. Pretty dumb in the finale. Like we were talking about how Oculus. Like, what did you think was gonna happen? Bitch, you just like kept saying like this on file, like that on file, like this on file.
Yeah.
Except for one singular building.
And she also didn't know that they burned the boats though either. Like she had this backup plan in her head.
Oh
so
yeah.
that they could spread their fucking psychopathic ways, psychotic ways. Yeah.
Vampire shit.
Yeah.
The episode where Father Paul like tells the story, like he's in confession, and he's like telling the story almost like in third person. He's like, this guy was like way sicker than anybody would accept, and he was like in the, wandering around in the storm.
Why he was ever over here? Like, he was in a place he should not have been. Yeah,
it's fucking wicked cool, and the vampire looks fucking very cool.
Yeah, I mean that's okay. I think I don't know. I think the acting and the monologues alone, just by the fucking priest, and
let's get to him. Hamish Linklater, a guy that I have never heard of or seen in literally anything else. He plays Father Paul, and he is fucking superb.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, like
he fits it so well. Another character, like just great.
I wouldn't have been surprised if, like, right after this, like, the head of the fucking Catholic religion reached out to him and was like, we want to make you Pope.
Yeah,
because,
I don't know about that.
So baby, let me tell you something. You were just said how you were more religious than I am. You're right. I was thinking about starting to go to church after this guy was talking to me. Let me tell you, I was ready to get off my couch and be like, praise God, hallelujah. That's how good he was. I was like, yo, this guy's getting me hyped up. He could have been like a sergeant in a war or some shit. And he would have been like, the soldiers would have been like fucking ready to kick in doors and fuck. This guy was fucking motivational. He was awesome. Like, not plenty of times, but certain times, like through history, like that person was like born to play like that role.
Yeah.
Like that's why they were here on this earth was to do that role.
Yeah.
Ray Liotta in Goodfellas. Like there were certain things where it's like that's why you exist. That's why, like this guy. If you look at his IMDb page, it's a joke. It's like it's a joke. It's barely better than my IMDb page, and it's just like he's so fucking good in this role where it's just like, how are you not like everywhere? How are you not in everything? Just built for it. Absolutely spectacular fucking character. All right, let's get to a couple of. All right, Kate Siegel, my least favorite Kate Siegel role in any of these. Least favorite Kate Siegel.
I would have
role.
to agree.
Yeah, just doesn't play the goody girl good. Like, not that she actually like ran off and got pregnant by like some rock star or some shit like that. So she wasn't like goody girl, but
yeah,
she
just
was.
wasn't a bitch. Like,
Yeah,
she wasn't a
she was,
stone
yeah.
cold bitch, and that's her best role.
She comes back. She's like a little school teacher. She's all like
Yeah,
jolly,
her
pregnant
monologues
mom.
I could have definitely done without.
That's the worst part of the show.
Yeah.
Is that conversation with her and Saracen.
Like,
which we
now that
coulda
I
get
think about the
in.
monologues and like the good versus bad, I could say Hill House is a better show. However,
Oh, to me, it's only that
still
one.
like-
It's just that one conversation and that one episode, and that's it.
with both of them,
Excuse me, sorry.
yeah, but like
It drags on way too long. Like
the death episode.
way.
It's
too
like, okay, I got it after the first 2 sentences, and now I have to hear another 35 minutes of your take, and then I have to listen to his fucking take.
You know, though, I don't like it. I don't. It drags on too long. But the fact that it comes right off of the quote unquote death of her baby, like inside it, like it's the
baby that was
vampire
never
blood,
there.
literally,
Yeah.
It consumed it because it's like, you know, like an alien presence in the body or whatever.
Yeah.
It's an okay reason to go on a monologue about death.
I think it's like an extra 25 minutes too fucking long. Like, okay, great, you're grieving, like you want to express what happens after death and how you feel. And then you're still going on about what happens after death and how you feel, and it's the same point. Like,
Yeah, no. She breaks down her entire body into fucking literal molecules.
yeah, atoms and molecules, and
yeah.
like, just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no, that's definitely my
No,
biggest.
and like, obviously we kind of know his take because of what he's going through and what he's seeing, and then
That's where we're going next.
he asks her and she's like, no, and then he asks her again, and it's like, why? She said no, just leave it at no.
Yeah, let's get to there. Let's get to him. My boy, we have the introduction of Zach Gilford into the Flanaverse. Matt fucking Saracen, number 7. Also at the top of your fucking watch list. Fucking unbelievable.
I didn't know
Like,
his real name was Zach Guilford. I thought it was
Oh, yeah.
Saracen.
Oh,
you
see?
call him every
That's what I'm talking. Like, he is. He's Matt. He's 7. He's Saracen. He's Saracen 7.
I don't like Riley as a boy name. Not a fan.
Oh yeah. All right. I don't know. Depends. He's a Riley. Yeah, he's a
I don't
Riley.
know what that means.
Yeah, like I said, it's gotta be the right person. He's a Riley. You can't have like some juiced up meathead being Riley. You know what I mean?
Because Riley's a girly name. That's why my baby's name's Riley.
He is sensitive. He's a sensitive man. But I was very excited to have this guy fucking introduced. I love Friday Night Lights. Like I said, it's at the top of your we gotta watch list because Friday Night Lights is fucking
Along
incredible.
with 15 other
Oh man, no! Friday Night Lights is high school football. We're getting to November. This is like Somerset people. This is Somerset versus Case time. Fuck, yo! Friday Night Lights. Yes, November. Yes. So we get introduced to Zach Gilford. First time he's going to be working. He's at the Riley Flynn. He's going to be the main character. Yeah. He's going to be the main character of this series for the most part.
obviously.
He does die though.
Yeah, but it starts off with him
Yeah.
and his accident.
It's either him or Paul Hill, Father Paul. It's one or the other. It's one of them. Two.
Okay.
One of them. Either way, they share it. I thought he was like in this first performance. I thought he was good. I thought he was good, and I thought his character was really good. Like his character was like fucking Shrek, onions. Like he was fucking layered. Like he was sensitive, but there was also very much a hardness from being in jail and reading up on all those religions and being in such a religious town and like having all of these. He's learned a lot from reading up on all these
I
religions.
wouldn't say he was hard from being in jail. I think he was just closed off.
That's a better way to put it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I wouldn't say hard. to
Yeah,
describe it.
no, I didn't mean I didn't mean like hard, like tough, but like like you said, yeah,
closed off.
Yes, it's a much better way to put it. Absolutely, closed off.
He had one way of viewing the world. What happened. He went to jail, and then he was like seeing her, and he couldn't find a way to cope with what he did.
Yeah,
Like he was never gonna forgive himself, and he shouldn't. drunk drivers are pieces of shit.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right. I love that. So he like sees the girl that he killed throughout the show, and like I like that he never reacts. He never like freaks out and is like scared. It's always like he knows
he killed her. He knows he just has to live with it. He's been seeing her every single day since it happened. In jail, out of jail. Like, I think, yeah.
Now,
he's just accepted his life.
Before we move on from Saracen, we just mentioned how it's going to be at the top of your list as Friday Night Lights. For the people that are listening that have seen Friday Night Lights, opening episode, Matt Saracen goes home in his bedroom. He sits on his bed. And the only thing that we can see behind him is a movie poster for the movie Seven. Tell me that is not the definition of an Easter egg. He knows all the motherfuckers that have seen Friday Night Lights, which is a shit ton of people because it's a massive show, that are watching like, oh shit, Saracen, that's Seven. Seven's back. And then just put a Seven poster behind him. And that's supposed to be like a fucking, what? A coincidence? Flanagan's like, oh, I really like the movie Seven, which great fucking movie. I love Seven too. But he's like, oh, out of all the movies he could have picked, he just somehow lands on Seven, and it just so happens that it's Saracen.
I got it, baby.
You know? And I mind you, I want to, on record, I fucking noticed that the second I watched this show the first time. The second he sat down, I was like, I remember Los was still living here, and I was like, yo, Seven. Seven's back, yo. Where's Riggins? 33 coming in with the threes. Riggs? See, you don't even, y'all get it. She don't, but y'all get it.
Isn't that George Tucker?
What? It's Taylor Hitch. You definitely know him from other shit, because he's in a lot of stuff. I feel like we actually just watched something else with him in it. Fuck, I can't even think. Anyways, let's leave Saracen. Fun little. We keep mentioning like little appearances and how people like to find their way into things. This was another one that I liked that I noticed actually on this rewatch with you. Didn't notice it before. First episode again. Very, very, very early into the episode, the judge is reading off the sentencing to Riley Flynn about how long he's going to jail for. As soon as I heard the voice, because we've been watching so much of her shit, Carla Gugino. I was like, nice little fucking sprinkle, way to get her in there. We talked about Owen in the last show, Bly Manor. Rahul Kohli. Love him as Owen. He plays the sheriff, or Sharif, as Joe calls him. Yep, Sharif. Love this role.
Yeah. I think
really
he plays
good.
it well, yeah.
Does. In a way, the reason I'm saying this is because we're going to get away from that, but in a way, a similar character to kind of how he played in Bly Manor. Quiet, kind of preserved.
I only saw him, I only remember in the first few episodes, but yeah.
By no means outlandish or...
No.
You know what I mean? Or, whatever. Nosy, loud, any of those things. Very, like I said, preserved, quiet. But he's really, really, really good in this. I liked the relationship with the son, too. I like that he, constantly was trying to... He ended up losing out, so maybe he should have been more pushy. But he wasn't pushy. He was very much, trying to be... he was a good dad. Good dad and a good sheriff.
Yeah.
Good dad and a good sheriff. Even though he's a scumbag, I don't know, it's tough to say. Robert Longstreet, I like his character in this. I like Joe. I think he does a good job as Joe, as the town drunk.
Yeah.
I thought he did a good job.
Yeah.
Very, I don't know. I don't want to say it sounded natural for him because that sounds mean. I don't think he's just chubby drunk.
No, but he fits the bill, with his long hair and his scraggly beard. And,
yeah.
He's not fat, but he's just got a gut.
Yeah.
He could have a couple drinks.
Something about his demeanor too, just something, I don't know, something about him that just really fit for this role for me.
Either that or with a ponytail and a Mr. Bob Builder, we can fix it kind of. That's the other role I can see him in. He's got his tool belt, the Red Green Show. Do you remember that show?
Red Green?
Yeah, the Red Green Show.
What's that?
I was a Mr. Fix It show. It was when Tim Allen had his show. What the fuck was his show?
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement. Yeah.
I know that. I've watched that show a bunch.
No, the Red Green Show. It's a different show.
Okay.
It's old.
I don't remember that one. But even though he's a drunk. He got drunk. He fucking fired a gun like a fucking idiot, and he fucking paralyzed a little girl. And it was a horrible accident. But he is so guilt ridden by it.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say, you said a scumbag role. I wouldn't even say.
Yeah. Like when she shows up at the trailer, like to basically say like I accept your apology or whatever, like he's like he like starts crying basically, like he can't even forgive himself.
Yeah.
So the fact that she's able to forgive him is like overwhelming to him that he can't.
I think the fact that he
it.
like became a drunk and like threw his life away, like he obviously isn't a scumbag. He didn't mean it. Did he go to jail and like turn himself in? No, but
if he lived in any other town, he would have been in jail.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's crazy.
Like it's just, I don't know. He knows he did wrong.
Yeah, no, he does. I liked the character.
Yeah,
I liked the character. I liked the character. When Bev kills his dog too, like that was like, oh my God. He even kind of says it. He's like, I get if you people hate me. Like, I get it. I hate me.
Like, my dog didn't do anything.
Yeah, I think he literally says, I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, I think he says, I hate me too most days, or I hate me too, or something like that.
She didn't do anything.
Yes. Yes.
She didn't deserve this.
Yeah. She was a good pooch. Fucked up. She saw Bev Keane for what she really was.
Fuck Bev Keane. Really love her, but fuck Bev Keane.
But we get a couple of other the regular people trickled in. Henry Thomas, small role in this one. Michael Trucco, who we mentioned from Hush, he's back. A couple other people too. Annabeth Gish, she's got an okay role. She was Annabeth Gish is the doctor on the island.
Oh, okay.
Whose mother
I like her.
From,
she's like one of the few normal people. She's not a kook.
Yeah,
she doesn't buy into it.
She's Mrs. Dudley in Hill House.
Yes, that I know. Yeah, I love her in Hill House.
No, she's good. She's in a lot of his projects too. No, she's got good roles. All right, we're actually, baby, look at us. We're taking a lot longer than I thought, which could be good and could be bad.
Shit.
Oh, I was about to say we're going to move on from Midnight Mass, but there is one quick small thing that we have to hit. I can't believe that we were going to forget this. The last fucking line of this show is so goddamn funny. It's unbelievable. The least comedic show of all time. And I swear to God, I still feel like it's an edited video on YouTube.
I always forget about it too. It is so great. It's so great.
Fucking Lisa and her little boo thing, the only two people on the whole island that are able to row away to safety. And all of a sudden she just looks over the last line of the show. I can't feel my legs. Dude, she says it almost happily.
You just see the vampire fly away, and it's like, do you think he's gonna make it to the mainland? No. Such a positive outlook on life, and then like the miracle ends, and she's like, "Oh fuck."
Like I said, she says it almost happily.
I can't feel my legs.
Yeah, like, everything's okay now. Like I'm paralyzed again. Like, dude, what the fuck?
Fuck.
Oh shit. Very, very, very funny fucking ending to a very, very good show.
It is. It's such an amazing show, though. I love
it. It is. Yeah, very, very, very good show. All right, let's keep moving here. Midnight Club. This is one that we're probably, unfortunately, going to take a little bit more time with because there's a lot to kind of do. Midnight Club. This was show number 3, 2022. 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. Inside a hospice for terminally ill teens, members of an exclusive club make a chilling pact. The first to die must send a sign from beyond the grave. Now, I really love this one. It's based on a novel of the same name by Christopher Pike in 1994. And I love just the general way that this show is set up. It's very much like each character gets a chance to tell their own story for an episode. And it feels like reading Goosebump books. Like every episode feels fresh and different because every story is fresh and different. And you get to kind of learn about each character within the story that they tell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, as someone who read Goosebump books like a motherfucker when they were young, I loved this. And fucking I loved it so much that when we finished it this last time, I ran right out and grabbed one of the books that he wrote. So I haven't dove into that yet. But I love the way that this is set up. Just like I don't know. I just like the idea of it. It's up my alley. Morbid show.
It is very morbid.
It's a morbid show. It is a morbid show. You're dealing with a bunch of, teens that are terminally ill and going to be dying soon. But even within that, part of the reason why I think the show is so good is that even though you're dealing with all these terminally ill teens, I feel like every single human emotion when you're watching the show. Like you laugh, you definitely get scared. You get heartbroken, and then you get heartwarming. Like it really does like cover all of the bases, which I feel like he tries to do in kind of everything that he does.
Yeah.
Tries to show all of the parts of being human. But I really like. I didn't love every single story. Like there were some episodes where I was like, I don't love the story that was told. So like, yeah, like Spencer's story. Like Spencer's my favorite character, but Spencer's story is kind of stinks.
Yeah.
But like, I still like in a way like kind of enjoy it because like I said, you're learning more about Spence and the way he actually is as like a person and shit like that. And like I said, he is my favorite character. So even when the stories aren't that great, I do like them. Another cool, very cool thing, set the record for most scripted jump scares in a single episode of television. 21 scripted jump scares in the pilot episode. That's Natsuki's story. And it's like, she's like almost like a ghost. She looks kind of like the girl from The Grudge.
Yeah.
And she just keeps like popping up all over the place and screaming like a billion fucking times. But it's a cool little Guinness World Record to hang your hat on. Yeah. I like that. And that's only like that episode. I don't feel like the whole, some more jump scares. But that's not like what the whole show is built on. We get a lot of the same characters as always. I will say Henry Thomas is only in that one episode, which I talked to you about as we were watching it. I was like, the last time I watched the show was the first time. I did not care for this episode. Like I found it really boring. It's actually Natsuki's second story, where she's riding with the angel and the devil in the back seat of her car.
Oh, okay. Yep. And it's the loop over and over again.
Yes.
I remember
and
that.
she's like trying to kill herself in the garage of her car.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not like that episode the first time I watched. Like I didn't like it. And then I watched it the second time with you and I was like, now that I know how it ends.
Yeah.
And now I've watched it with those eyes. Way, way, way more. I was like, oh, wow. Like this is actually really smart. Like now that I know I'm seeing it for what it is, this is like a really smart episode.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So shout out to Henry Thomas again. We get let's see, we get Zach Gilford back, small role, just a little orderly. That's what they call him. Orderly.
Yeah, he's
gay
the
as
nurse.
Well.
He's the
nurse.
Yeah, because he gives injections and pain meds and stuff.
There you go.
The orderly is like Joe.
Okay.
The bed guy, the janitor.
He's a big
he's a
part
janitor,
of what
but
we're
he's
gonna
like
be
an
talking.
orderly. Like he changes the bed and stuff, and like
huge character we're gonna be talking about in like fucking 5 fucking minutes. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, we're wrapping. Zach Gilford back. Let's see. Ruth Codd. She plays Anya. This is the first project that I've seen her in at all. Never mind a Flanagan project. I think she was the star of the show. I think she was fucking incredible.
Anya?
Yeah.
The chick in the wheelchair?
Great. Yeah. I thought she was outstanding. This is why we're doing a podcast.
This was the first time you've seen her?
Yeah.
What else is she in?
Usher. It's for Flanagan, yeah. I'm positive. This is all I've been doing, is this? This is all I've been doing? I'm positive.
Movie?
No.
Maybe it's because we saw her so much just when we just watched House of Usher. Maybe that's why I'm thinking of her.
Could be. I love her in the show. She's great.
You checked?
I did.
Okay.
Maybe all I've done is check.
Okay.
All I've done is check.
It must be because she is in House of Usher so much, but
Maybe.
I don't know. I feel like she's in my brain more.
And Midnight Club,
something else.
she's powerful. She's a powerful.
Yeah,
presence,
she plays
like.
different. Yeah, she plays a couple different roles. So
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I don't know. Okay.
Your initial, I feel like, thought is to be like, oh man, this girl's like handicapped. That like sucks, and she's terminally ill. Like, damn, that sucks. And then she is the toughest bitch in the hospice center, and also has the biggest heart in the hospice center. Very much hard exterior with like a massive heart underneath.
Yeah.
Like massive. Also just like definitely like the comedic relief of the show.
Oh, she's hysterical.
Fucking funny as hell.
Also
just
because she's
funny.
super fucking morbid.
Yes.
Like it's just funny.
Yeah. Again,
She
accent
embraces
too.
the sarcasm, yeah.
She does, yes. She definitely does.
Of her life and cancer and
all of it.
everything.
Living there, like in that environment, like
Yeah.
she knows like this is
Exactly.
like death
Yeah.
house, like fucking.
Yeah.
The other thing before we get into the cool part, Samantha Sloan's character again in this, not obviously as good as Midnight Mass, but I like her in this show.
Yeah,
Very
she
mysterious.
fits that too. Yeah,
She does.
She gives a couple good monologues. She's very like
Bright girl.
Yeah, exactly. Bright girl. She's very culty, which is also like Midnight Mass. It's like she believes in one thing, and if you don't believe it, you will fucking believe it by the end of her speech.
Culty in the right way, as far as it's like hippie-ish.
Yeah,
like it fits her. Like you said, it fits her very well.
Witchy. It's like the whole
growing flowers
the whole,
in the fucking
like,
woods
let's all
and
sacrifice
shit.
ourselves and cut ourselves and like like sacrifice to the fucking moon, and this bitch is gonna be cancer free. She's gonna walk out of these doors just like I did. culty. What she believes, if you do not, like, she will convince you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Absolutely.
There's no other way.
That's controlling is a good way to describe her on
Yeah.
screen is when she's good. So we're going to try to move quicker because we do have to go. But anyways, that's kind of like the general stuff for that first season. We both like it a lot, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now let's get to the part that's interesting.
So much fun.
Flanagan wanted to have this show set up for 2 seasons. That's how it was written. That's how it was planned. So a lot of storylines were left kind of somewhat open from season 1. Netflix did not decide to pick up season 2, but because he's the fucking man and the coolest guy ever, he decided to go and make a blog and exactly give us all of the information that he and the writing team had for season 2. So we're going to go through that pretty quick. For anybody who might not have read it, I'll basically give you a nice little synopsis of it. But basically, season 2, what would have happened, we would open with Amash. He's the first one. He'd be telling his story. He's going to be the first death of the season. Kevin, which is the second time we've seen him. That's Igby Rigsby. He is in Midnight Mass. He's like the altar boy. He's Saracen's little brother.
Yeah.
He lives. He's on the boat.
Yeah.
Right.
Leukemia boy.
Leukemia. There we go. So he's doing really, really bad.
He's the old man in the love story.
Yep. Again.
love it so much.
Yep. He's doing really, really bad. So in order to try and keep him like motivated to live, Alanka is going to do exactly what he did in season 1, which is do like a serialized story and be like, stay alive. If you want to hear the rest of the story, you got to stay alive a little longer.
Yeah.
So like she's trying to do the exact same thing. This story that she's going to tell is based on another Christopher Pike story, Remember Me, which is Flanagan's favorite Pike story. And the coolest part about it, he said that he was most excited about, was that in the telling of this serialized story from Alanka, whereas all of the other stories, they're the main character in the story, this one was going to be played by Anya. So it was a cool way to bring Ruth Codd back in for a couple of episodes, because he said it was going to be like 5 episodes.
Yeah.
So she would have basically been like a full-blown character in
Yeah.
season 2 still. Would have been very, very cool.
Exactly.
New patient would arrive after Amesh dies. He said he didn't have too much about her, but it was going to be very similar to Alanka and Anya's relationship. She would move in. She'd be Alanka's new roommate. Alanka would be standoffish, doesn't want to invite her into the club. Then they would become friends. With the new patient, they say comes the first story from Sherry, which is interesting because that's how it's going to end as well. Sherry's the black girl who makes the wigs because her parents like don't like her and shit like that. Next to die was being Natsuki. Then we get to the best part of these cliff notes that I'm going to give out. My boy, best character in the show, Spence lives, baby. Show takes place in, first season at least, takes place in 1994. AIDS Cocktail comes out in 1995. In the series finale, Spence would leave Brightcliff to go and live out the rest of his life and manage his illness, not terminally. I read that and I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, let's go, baby. That's my boy. I loved Spence. Great character. Great character. Again,
it's crazy to
layered.
think that AIDS patients and like people with HIV like used to live in hospice centers and stuff because like they were terminally ill.
Like,
and now it's
not that long ago.
No,
like,
no. I mean, it's obviously not crazy, but it's
ago.
like it's.
This is literally like 30
so many
years.
other diseases that are the same thing, but
basically our lifespan.
like I know.
That's crazy. So that made me pumped up. And then we get kind of to the couple of mysteries. We see at the end of season 1, Dr. Straighton's got the triangle cult tattoo on the back of her neck.
Yes.
Turns out that she is one of the girls that we mentioned a bunch of times. She is Athena.
The daughter.
She is the daughter of the Say-So, who's the cult leader. She's the one that wrote the Paragon Journal that Alanka finds in season 1.
Yeah.
She's the one that carved her initials into the tree that Alanka finds out in the woods. She turned on her mother, has a tattoo from her cult years.
Save the other kids, yeah.
She bought Brightcliff in order to kind of flip the script on what it's been known to do. The reason that she bald is because she's actually going through chemo herself. She has cancer. They said that at the end, though, she would survive. She would not be terminal. And basically the story was for her character to have to deal with trying to save children and deal with their terminal illness while also dealing with her own illness. Cool little premise. I like it. So let's get to the last couple things. Like I said, I'm moving real quick here. So we already mentioned...
Yeah, you don't have to, like, rush.
No. I don't want you to be late. So we already mentioned Amish would be the first death. Natsuki would be the second death. Kevin and Alanka would follow afterwards. So we'd have 4 of our main cast all passed away. And the part that would tie them all together is the janitor, Robert Longstreet, who we saw in season 1. Robert Longstreet comes to all of them in the same fashion that we saw him in season 1. He is the janitor, orderly, nurse that is changing out the bed sheets for all of these patients. And like we saw with Anya, it was right before she died.
Yeah, it's almost like the Dr. Sleep character. Like, he is death. Like,
Actually, that's a great comparison.
Yeah, he is very much leading them into a better place.
That's a fucking great comparison.
He's a transition character.
That is a fucking great comparison. So it turns out, like you just said, he really is death. And the point is that it's supposed to be nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah.
He's opening up his arms
Part of
and
life.
taking you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. It's right.
He's been there all along. It wasn't their time. When it's that time, that's it. You can't run or hide. You have to embrace it.
Don't be afraid. It's going to be fine. And instead, the shadow that we see, like always creeping on these people that we think is death, he said is really basically the final version of one's self in dealing with that self-acceptance that you're going to die. Which is why he said in season 1, we see Anya, right as basically she's dying, she sees her life outside of Brightcliff. She's like in the retreat meetings and shit like that.
Yeah.
And she's watching TV in her apartment. Speaking of watching TV in her apartment, when she's doing that, the voices on the screen, Kate Siegel, Carla Gugino. Boom. Boom.
I didn't know that.
Cameos. I didn't until today.
The Chinese girl also sees.
That's Suki.
Yeah, she also sees the shadow and stuff right before.
So, yeah. So, like I said, the shadow would basically be, like I said, an extension of oneself, accepting the final stages, accepting death. And the shadow is kind of to be sort of like the unknown in a way. What's the come next? Where does the journey go? Which brings us to our final conclusion for the season, for the story where they wanted to end the whole thing. The biggest mystery, the Mirror Man and the Cataract Woman, the two ghosts, demons, whatever, that Alanka continues to see. They were the couple that actually built Brightcliff. This is taken directly from Pike's books. They're not ghosts. They are glimpses into past lives, is what they said. So basically, Alanka and Kevin being in this hospice where these spirits live, they were almost, in a way, sort of possessed, kind of.
Yeah, they were connected as soulmates.
Exactly.
Yeah, reincarnation.
So the man and woman, the Cataract Woman and the Mirror Man that built Brightcliff, lived like a life together. The man was supposed to die. Basically, he had a terminal illness. He built this house to be near the seawater, it says, the hope that it would make him better. Turns out he actually did make him better. His wife eventually developed dementia. She wouldn't leave the basement, which is why he painted the ceiling to look like the night sky. And then he painted the maze on the floor because supposedly the maze would help with the dementia.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Keep the mind young. You have to keep it working.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he did all of this, and now, since then, they have continued to live on through the presence of Brightcliff.
Yes.
So basically, it says that they have continued to find each other in the afterlife time and time again, that they've fallen in love time
and they both
and time
end up at
again.
Brightcliff. And that's why when she gets there, she says, or he says, "Don't I know you?"
Yep, exactly.
Oh, God.
That's exactly right.
Soulmates are a thing. I love it. I love it so much.
True love doesn't
even
exist.
in death.
Yep. So it's very, very, very perfect. So that would be kind of the end, basically, like I said. So that would be Alanka would be accepting
all
her
that
death because
all that cancer. It's just such a precious ending. It's so cute.
Yeah. So like the shadow we said come like in the last date, like she would be accepting of it because she knows she's going to come back and she's going to find Kevin again.
Yes.
And the whole
precious.
It really is. No, it is. It is fucking precious. It is very fucking precious. Let's get to the last one so we can wrap and get the fuck out of here. I also have to pee. The Fall of the House of Usher, 2023, 90% critic score. This is the most recent and last project that he's going to do for Netflix. Siblings Roderick and Madeline Usher have built a pharmaceutical company into an empire of wealth, privilege, and power. However, secrets come to light when the heirs to the Usher dynasty start dying. Based on Edgar Allan Poe's story, published in 1839, ladies and gentlemen, almost 200 fucking years ago. Now, This is definitely my least favorite series from Flanagan, without a doubt, by a good margin. And this is one of, out of the 10, probably this and Oculus are my least two favorite projects.
I like this more than Oculus.
Yeah, I think you like this entirely more than me.
Oh, I do. I absolutely do. Yeah, I don't know. I like this. I think it plays good as like a long movie kind of thing.
Right away, like
Oculus.
when you just give me if you just gave me the synopsis of all 5 series and you said which one, like put them in order, right away this is going to be the one I'm least interested in. It just is. You're going to tell me like a rich and powerful family is going to fall apart after making a deal with the devil.
I think it's the inner workings of the deal with the devil, and Poe isn't Stephen King either.
Sure isn't.
It's like,
he sure fucking isn't.
Yeah, it's a completely different. I like some Edgar Allan Poe things.
He's a creepy, weird fucking dude.
Yeah.
So I would say, aside from the premise, well, I don't love. I mean, it's still a good show. It's not that I don't love it. This show does have a lot of like characters that I do like.
Yes.
A lot of like.
A
good
lot
characters.
of annoying monologues, but
a couple.
I don't know. I don't know. I definitely like it more than you.
One of my biggest problems, though, is that the characters that I find intriguing and I do like are the first ones
Die
killed.
quickly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the ones that I don't really give a shit about are the ones that live basically throughout the entire thing for the most part.
Yeah.
So, didn't love that.
The last two to die are the last two actual children, though. That's why.
Right.
Goes
that's
in
true.
order.
Oh, yeah, it does.
It goes in order
right.
of when they came into his life.
It's a good call.
Least important to most important.
And that's why the granddaughter's last. Abra from Dr.
Yeah,
Sleep.
that's why it's like, that's very much why it's, yeah.
So we got Bruce Greenwood back. Like we mentioned him a bunch of times. Gerald Green, Dr. Sleep. He's got a huge role. He's honestly probably basically the main character, I would really say, from this. Him and Carl Lumley, who we've also mentioned, he's in Dr. Sleep as well. Their characters are basically sitting together for the entire show. I do love their back and forth.
Yeah.
Because you feel, because you learn the story throughout, but even from the beginning, you feel the history.
Yeah, you feel the tension. You
Yes.
feel the frustration and everything.
There's shit there.
Yeah.
There's shit.
There's so many layers to this show. That's why I do like it so much. But I like psychological and like, not boring. It's not boring, but it's definitely, it's just different.
Oh, no. It's definitely different. Yeah. Especially, we've talked about pretty much everything else he's done, and this doesn't fall into the same category to a lot of those other things.
I think it's well done. I think there's a lot of, like, dynamics to the characters and the different storylines, though.
Yeah. Let's see. Definitely a different role for Henry Thomas, for sure. He's like kind of like a little boy in a grown man's body.
He sucks.
Trying to make his daddy proud, but then like torturing the shit out of his wife. Wild. Kate Siegel, back to being a bitch. Loved that. Wildly crazy kooky bitch. Like, yo, you two are trying to leave me at that one point. It's Igby, Rugsby, and then Natsuki. Like, our two little assistants. And they're like, we have a relationship. We're trying to leave.
Yeah,
She's like,
that whole relationship dynamic was just like
on the contract.
Wild.
Y'all gotta fuck
that
me.
and the redhead. Yeah, like
yeah. She was a kook.
Wild. Definitely living in modern times.
Her poor
Not like some of his other things.
Rahul Kohli. And then we already talked about very different role for him too. Quiet, conservative with Owen and Sharif. This one he's
he's a party animal.
Party animal.
Yeah,
liked him
is
in
a
this.
druggie. Yeah,
Liked him in this.
Oh
boy. Sorian Sapkota. He plays Amish in Midnight Club. He's the youngest sibling. He's the one that throws the rave and burns himself.
Oh, yes.
Liked his character.
Yeah, who invites
both of them,
the guy's wife. Yeah.
So actually, all 3 characters I just named are the first 3 to die.
Yes, because none of them were his biological children.
I
mean, I'm sorry, like not his wife's children.
Right.
His ex-wife's children.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Continuing with good characters. Madeline Usher. Both versions, awesome. Just like tough, hard-nosed.
She's a force too. Yeah, she plays that really well.
Good. Force is a good way to put it.
The younger version more so than the older version. The older version is definitely still a force, but not
more polished though.
Yeah,
she knows how to go about things without being so aggressive.
Exactly, and like
She's
inserting her opinion. Like she knows when to speak and when not to speak.
Yep. Mark Hamill is in here as Arthur Pym, the lawyer. He is fucking an awesome character.
Yeah.
Just like a do not fuck with me. At first they make him out to just be like a lawyer, but then quickly you're like, yo, what is this guy capable of? Like murder?
I think he's
fucking...
the lawyer. Like he is. He's the lawyer.
He's good. Great ending for him too. Like the devil comes to him and then he's like, you know, I can give you good years, and he's like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah,
I ain't going
I'm gonna
out
live
for
my
anybody.
life. I'll go out the way I'm gonna go out. Yeah, he's not cheating death.
Goes
Hell
to
no.
jail.
Fuck no.
Goes to jail.
Yeah.
I did like Zach Gilford again. Shout out Saracen. He's young Roderick. I thought he played good. This is a different role for him too. Saracen's usually kind of like a good boy.
Yeah, I think it's. I still think it's his like least assertive role. I think he's even like he's maybe not tougher in Midnight Mass, but he's just
Let me tell you, when the devil comes
more
to
of a
him,
presence in Midnight Mass. I think he's more of a.
Ooh, see, I don't know about that. Ooh, that's tough. Ugh.
I think maybe because they don't show him as much younger as they do older.
Oh, for sure not. No.
Younger, he's more like undecided and like he doesn't really know what he wants to be and he doesn't know that. Whereas in Midnight Mass, he very much like he's accepted his life. He's accepted where he's at. He fucked up and that's it. Like, I don't know. Different roles.
Well, when Carla, the devil, is like giving them the deal at first, and she is like, "It's gonna cost your offspring." And his sister's like, "I don't have any kids."
And
he
he's like,
does, and he's like,
deal.
"Yeah, fuck that."
Yeah.
He's like, "Sign me up, like I'm in."
And he only has two
like,
kids, and then he continues to have fucking children. I don't know if he thought he was gonna cheat death
Sociopath.
though, and like maybe he just thought that. I don't know. Maybe he didn't think it was his entire bloodline, like she says in the end, like
including his granddaughter.
You don't think, like, you don't really think about what your bloodline is.
Yeah, he thought just his kids.
And that's why I think he was just, you know, playing it fast and loose. Or he thought, like, it is what it is. They'll have, exactly like she says, like, they'll have a good, long life.
They did?
Until they don't.
Not even a good long life, but a good, like, rich life, basically.
Like a good long life. Like, not a long life, like a good life. Like, not gonna.
He was also pretty cold when they were, like, bricking the guy in. Michael Trucco, the boss.
Yeah.
He was just, like, pretty, like, I don't give a fuck. Are you gonna die, bro?
I think it was all her.
The sister?
I think if she wasn't the driving force, then he would have very much been like, okay, let me help this little Medicare fraud investigator. Let me do that and lose my job and not be able to support my family. And like he very much would not have done anything. I think it was all her. And that's exactly what she says at the bar.
Probably right.
That's exactly what she says at the
He
bar.
would have probably
when
made
he
the
gets up
deal.
and he dances and
the
chick's talking to her and she's like, it's not him, it's you. Like you're Cleopatra. Like
that's right.
He's in the deal because of you and your twins. Like, but it was for her. And I don't think it was for him at all. But he's the man.
Last thing I would say about the show before we wrap, we talked about monologues. This has one of the more memorable monologues in any of his works for me. The Lemon.
Yeah.
The Lemon is the biggest takeaway from this show for me. That is
amazing.
An incredible like 2 minutes. And when they
fuck that. You don't make
when they turn
lemonade.
to the prosecutor, I can't think of his name now again, but when they turn to him, August, yes, and he's just like mouth agape, like stunned, just like I just saw like a genius. Even if it's an evil genius, still a genius.
Yeah, but it's like how to like
how fucking Apple became Apple, how Amazon became Amazon, how fucking any company became any company.
How
it's
to
like
make
hashtag
money
Lemon.
And absolutely destroy any sense of like
it's not cool.
Moral. It's like no.
That's a great scene.
I don't know.
One of the best scenes in
It
any
is a
show.
great scene.
That's all I got for this show. I know you liked it more than me.
I did like it. I really did like it. I liked the way every single child was trying to fulfill their father's need ended up being the way that they died. Like, you're good enough. You don't need to prove your worth. Like, it really sucks that you're going through what you're going through because of how you came into this world and because of the deal that your father made with the devil.
It didn't matter what you actually did in your life.
No, exactly. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of depth to every single character, and I mean, it's not a lot, but I don't know.
No,
I like it more than you.
You're definitely right.
I like some Poe things though.
Yeah, no, like I said, probably my least favorite series, but everything that we've talked about is really good, which is why we did this entire episode to begin with. Mike Flanagan's awesome, and like I said, I hope that this episode made some of you guys want to go out and watch some of his shit, because he's not a household name, and I truly think he should be, because I think he's been doing this better and more consistently than anybody else has over the last 10 years. I hope that you enjoyed watching all of it with me over the last month.
I did.
Good, good. I hope all you guys enjoyed this episode of the podcast. I think that's going to wrap it, right?
Yeah.
All right. So thank you for doing this. You did a great job. I really appreciate you helping me out and doing this. Otherwise, I would have been in here rambling by myself for fucking who knows how long.
Definitely would have been less time.
Yeah, well, whatever. It was a good time. I had fun. Thank you guys all, as always, for listening. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. I hope all of you guys have a very, very happy Halloween. We will talk to you guys again very soon. And as always, happy watching.